What is up, Ghosts and Guardians, and welcome to the Ghosts and Guardians podcast, where we talk all about Destiny 2. We talk about the TWAB. We talk about the good, the bad, the ugly. We talk about the things we love about this game, whether it has to do with the newest lore that just came out this week, which is, ooh, so tasty, or whether it's things like, Stasis, which we're also going to talk about this week. I'm pretty excited. Of course, I'm not by myself. I'm with loyal and paracausal co-host, the homie Gil. How you doing, man?
How do I sound?
Gil's got a brand new mic. He's part of the Elgato Wave 3 gang. We have about one or two more changes coming to our personal setups, and you guys are going to be, I think, impressed. I think you'll be like, wow, this podcast is official. It's so cool. It's so awesome. So really excited. Guys, thank you so much. Wow, people are already here. Phoenix, what's up, man? Thank you so much for coming through. He says crispy audio. He also says nice lighting, Gil. Nice lighting. Which I agree. That was he worked on that last week, I think. Maybe a week before that.
Yeah. It was like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago, yeah. So that's all good. New reactions says the Audio Technica? Is that what we don't have Audio Technicas out here, man. We just have Elgatos, all right? Like
Rich.
Elgatos. We're relaxing, all right? We're relaxing. But yeah, no, things are good. We're very happy about things. Speaking about the podcast overall, just want to remind everybody, if you guys have not yet, we have our Twitter, and I'd love for you to follow it. Ghosts Guardians, at Ghosts Guardians, both plural. We can't get Ghosts and Guardians. So if you want to follow Ghosts Guardians, we would really, really, really appreciate it. It's at Ghosts Guardians, and we out here. We're talking about a bunch of different things. We actually, recently talked about some of the changes for the TWAB, or not the TWAB. It's not in the TWAB, it was the last TWAB. For the patch notes that we're about to talk about, we put a couple of our thoughts out there. Hung jury is good. So definitely take a look here. We always say when we're live on Twitter, so if you've got notifications on for Twitter, that can work. Or if you just want to interact with us externally, or if you want us to go over something, or if you want our thoughts on something, this is a great place to do it. So follow us at Ghosts Guardians on Twitter. And the other spot that I highly recommend you guys follow us is, of course, YouTube. This is going to be the place for you guys to watch our content back again. Let us know what you guys think. But on accident, without any marketing or anything like that, one of our episodes actually got 42 views, which I know doesn't sound like a lot, but for folks that haven't done any marketing yet, we're just trying to make sure we get all the kinks and stuff out. We're pretty happy about it. We are going to add a playlist soon that has videos from my channel, possibly Gil's channel if he ever makes one, so that way people can see what we have, and a playlist of our favorite videos from the Destiny community generally. So we're pretty excited about that kind of stuff. If you guys
I actually have a YouTube channel.
Oh, okay.
I haven't done anything with it yet.
It's actually possible.
I was actually, as my first video, I was going to make an intro video, and then I was going to post all the parts of the thing I'm playing right now as the first thing to my channel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So definitely follow us. I would say the two biggest places are Twitter and YouTube. I think those are the biggest ones. Subscribe to us on YouTube. We're about to start posting segments, so if this is too long for you guys and you just want the segment on what we thought about Titan Stasis or something like that, we'll have those up on YouTube soon. Literally the only reason I haven't done it yet is because I'm the one that edits those, and it's just a process with a brand new computer and finding the time. So Twitter, YouTube, guys, we would really, really appreciate it. One thing that I wanted to talk about, as you guys already know, when we start the podcast, we always just talk a little bit about, not housekeeping, but more of just like, hey, how are myself and Gil out in the world? We've been playing a lot of Destiny, but not as much as we usually do. We've been playing some other games as well, so I wanted to start there. Paracausal co-host Gil, what have you been playing over the last week?
So, if you follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/thehomieGil, no spaces, no caps. I've been playing Resident Evil Village. the newest Resident Evil game to come out. Bro, that game is fire.
It's nice.
um, um, if you haven't played like, well, I would say it's like a good way to introduce yourself to the series. Not really. I'd play Resident Evil 7 Biohazard before you play this one. So that way you at least have some understanding of what's going on. Um, which I think they actually got for free like not too long ago. I think.
I think 7 is the right place to start. I've done a bunch of research on this. I was streaming twitch.tv/Chain Gear Gaming. I was doing some of my own streaming, and I was talking to people about this game coming out. You might have been there, Gil, actually. And people were like, "Oh, you got to play this game and this game and this game." And I was like, "Man, dude, like, where do I start?" The last game I played was Resident Evil 6. After I played Resident Evil 5, and 6 is not good. 5, honestly. Yo, New Reactions actually says, hot take, but Resident Evil 5 is my favorite. So I actually loved Resident Evil 5, but it was also, like, my first real playthrough of the game. Like, I didn't play 4, I'd seen it, I didn't play any of the old ones for sure. I think I played the original, and I played one on my phone one time. But 5 was my first, yeah.
Did you play RE2 or 3 Remake?
I did not, no. So I didn't play it. So I know the stories of them all. Right, an old friend of mine loves Resident Evil, and so we played 5 together. I've actually played 5 twice. Played through 6 with my old roommates, and I wasn't even really paying attention. We were just kind of like speed running it, running through it for the trophies. And so I watched a bunch of videos on the other ones, but they're too old. You know, I was like, man, I don't really want to play these. So the remakes came out. Shout out to Mexican Synth and you know, you guys were like, oh yeah, man, these games are great, but they were so far out in the story that I was like, well, I don't really have time. I don't really know if I want to play them. From what I understand, 7 is the perfect spot to start. They're remaking their old games. Play them if you have time and you like Resident Evil. A lot of them are going to be in third person because it's more narrative driven based on the story and these characters that are eclectic. But 7 and Village, which is 8, right? 7 and 8 are about a brand new character, right? There are other characters involved, so no spoilers. I know Phoenix asked for no spoilers. But it's about a brand new character. And I think that's important to realize. So my recommendation is play 7. You should have gotten it for free. And if you haven't gotten it for free, it's usually very inexpensive now for like the entire gold edition.
It's $20.
Yeah. So
it's a PlayStation hit.
Yeah, so highly recommend that people pick that up. If you have a PS5, it's free. It's part of the collection that you get when you get a PS5. And then go to 8. Definitely worth it. I watched a bunch of videos recently on it. I've been really loving Capcom and Konami properties. Recently.
Capcom's killing it, dude.
Yeah, Capcom's doing so well. Excited to see what they do, which we'll actually talk more about later.
I'll say one thing. It's not really a spoiler. This is just from what I've seen and played. I'm like 75% of the way through the game. I'm streaming it again tomorrow on my Twitch, and I'm shooting for it to be the last episode. And then I'll give my definitive review on it after I've beaten it.
Ooh. Video on YouTube? Review?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Maybe.
Yeah. Maybe.
I'll probably clip it and ship it.
Yeah. Smart. Clip it and ship it.
This game is eerily similar to Resident Evil 4.
Oh, I've heard.
Yeah. And I'm like, dude, I think we're in Resident Evil 4 Remake. Like, which I'm okay with, because if you don't know, Resident Evil 4 is like fantastic.
Yeah,
and it's regarded as one of the best games ever. So dude,
play it.
I'm excited.
Basically, Gil saying play it and get excited for the 4th one. We're actually going to, in just a couple of minutes, I'm going to talk to you guys about something else that Gil and I are working on. So get excited for that. We'll talk more about future games and things like that then. I've been playing a game which has been really interesting. I've been playing, let me see, two games. I just played a game, and I got one of my favorite streamers to play it. It's called Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion. Now I don't know if anyone's heard of this game before, but you can get it on. You can get it on both Switch or PC. Switch or PC. I played it on Switch, and you can play it on PC. I got my favorite streamer, She Snaps, to play it on stream yesterday. And actually, we might be lucky. Hold on. We might get lucky, and I might even be able to... Hold on. She might be streaming it right now. I know this is like a... Oh, she's live. Oh my god, an ad. You gotta be kidding me. Alright, whatever. Well, I'm really hoping this pops up. But Turnip Boy, she might not be playing it at all, to be honest with you. A lot of the time she just talks to her chat. But I love this game. Turnip Boy commits tax evasion. The best thing is that you know nothing about it. That's what I recommend. It's one of those games. It is very similar to like Legend of Zelda style, like OG Legend of Zelda, top-down, pixel art. It's so funny. It's so good. It's cute. It's got a great story. It's short. People are saying it's about, like, I think if you're really fast, good at games generally, 3 hours. If you're taking your time, 4 or 5 hours. If you're struggling a little bit and you're not changing the options, 6 hours. So I would say 3 to 6 hours. 3 to 6 hours. I almost 100% of the game. I'm missing like one thing, and I was like, I'm good. So if you have a PC, definitely grab it. If you have a Switch, I recommend it. You can just look at some of the pictures here, and you can imagine, that it's an interesting game and has some interesting stuff in it. It is very, very fun. So highly recommend it. I've also been playing Maneater. Have you heard of Maneater, Gil?
Yeah.
Maneater, I think we got it for free. It is honestly really fun. Phoenix says Shark Game. Yes, the Shark Game. Let me see if I can just grab a quick video of it.
So guys, I'll paint the picture.
All right, I'm going to mute it real quick. This is Maneater. No spoilers, but you obviously play the shark, and it's like an RPG. So like you literally like level up. It can get a little tedious, but we got it for free, so I was just playing it. And it is now my like de facto casual game. Like whenever I'm like, oh god, I'm just tired and I don't want to play Destiny, this is the game I go to, and I just start chomping on fish, chomping on people, chomping on not buildings, but like random stuff on the beaches. But it is an RPG. Phoenix says I 100%ed it, but the game glitched at the end and robbed me. Oh, that's rough. It's fun. It's a fun game. I really, really enjoy it, and I highly recommend it for people that are looking for a fun, casual game that is basically. It's not. I won't say it's GTA. It's the if you're that person that runs around and just shoots things in GTA, that's what this is, but as a shark. The narration's funny. It's a good game. Highly recommend it.
I have one game. That I've been playing a little bit. I'm gonna keep this one short because we can move on. But Knockout City.
Oh yeah, we were just talking about that.
Yeah, that game's pretty fun. Like, it is a very good, like, IGN gave it a 9, but I don't trust IGN reviews. But
he said I don't trust IGN reviews.
But it's honestly, I would say it's a 9. I say it's a solid 8. Like, it's really fun. It's a good, like, depending on how you're playing, it's a good de-stressor. Like, let's say you and a couple homies are getting wrecked in Crucible. It's like, let's go play some Knockout City.
He said getting wrecked in Crucible?
Yeah.
Couldn't be me. So it's Metacritic. It's at an 81. Which you're seeing you're seeing a 9 here, a lot of 8s. So what you said seems to line up.
Yeah.
That's a big deal for me personally. Yeah. I think this game. It is really hard for a online game, an online only game, to get good ratings and good reviews and have people playing it. Apparently, 5 million people play the game, which again really means like 5 million people signed up to play the game, right? tried it once, tried it twice, whatever. But they have 5 million accounts, which is cool. But yeah, it's got full crossplay, which is interesting. I have things to say about crossplay, especially when it comes to PlayStation. They're starting to really get on my nerves. But yeah, apparently the game is fun. Gil says he doesn't trust IGN reviews. I read IGN reviews. You know, I'm not a pleb, and so I go through the the IGN reviews, and they gave it a 9. And I honestly, reading it and even listening, even if you just watch the video, I understand why they gave it a 9, and I was impressed. And it made me even just think about it generally. But yeah, if you guys are interested at all in Knockout City, which is a dodgeball game, just in case we didn't make that clear, it's a dodgeball game. Take a look at it. It is not free, but they do have a trial. I think that's going to be its downfall, honestly, is that it's not free, and I just think it's really hard to come out with a game that, you know, isn't Fortnite and is going to cost money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you're trying to get like, that's just gonna be hard. So that's my thoughts on it. But that's pretty cool. Darn it, She Snaps is not, unfortunately, playing the game. That makes me sad. Well, that's okay. Anyway, that is what me and the Paracausal co-host have been playing. Gil, thank you so much for that enlightenment, guys. It's time to talk about Destiny.
Indeed.
It's time to talk about Destiny. Let me exit out all these tabs. I got like 80 million tabs now. And let's actually talk about Destiny 2, guys. I'm excited. The first thing that I wanted to bring up actually is the DCP, the Destiny Community Podcast. There is a podcast, I guess, kind of a portion or a podcast episode, not episode, but it's like a segment called Firing Range. And Firing Range is brought to you by a lot of people that you guys probably know. Fallout, Drewski, Cool Guy, Mercules. If you guys don't know Mercules is the guy that does all the numbers for Destiny. Whenever I go to the Destiny massive spreadsheet weapon breakdown, that's Mercules. Or if I ever talk about, oh, this is the TTK of that weapon or the TTK of that weapon, it's because Mercules did it. Mercules the one that figured it out, you know? So it's kind of cool. Fallout and Drewski, Drewski's one of the best, like, PvP players, period. Cool Guy, honestly, is one of my favorite YouTubers when it comes to PvP. And then Fallout, he's just all around one of my favorite Destiny YouTubers. PvE, PvP, it doesn't even matter. So pretty great. Highly recommend it. But the reason I wanted to bring this up is because we haven't had a podcast like this in a while. This is an interview with Kevin Yans and Chris Proctor, both who work on the sandbox of Destiny 2. It is very good. It is very informative. If you like Fallout, he's the guy that starts the whole thing. Let me play it for you a little bit.
Hello, everybody in the booming Twitch chat. How are you? Thank you very much for joining us, and welcome to Firing Range, a podcast to talk about all things Destiny, weapons, abilities, loadouts, the sandbox at large, and Drew's haircut. And tonight, we have a very special episode lined up for all of you.
So, highly recommend it, guys. I'm telling you. They talk about Stasis. I haven't gone through the whole thing, but I was re-listening to some of the beginning parts. But the beginning goes through just like Stasis and their thoughts behind Stasis, the thoughts of the changes that we're going to go over later today. And it is just really informative. So if you've ever just wanted to sit back and listen to Destiny developers talk about PvP, highly recommend it. They do mention in the very beginning, hey, we're not going to talk about maps. We're not going to talk about new content. That's for another time, which is cool because at least they recognize it. But it's eye-opening. Highly recommend it. I don't want to hear anybody complaining about PvP and like things not coming out in PvP and all this stuff, and then not listen to a podcast like this where you literally have two devs coming in talking to us about their thoughts about it. So definitely give this a listen. At least the first 20 minutes or so. Put it on when you're pooping, when you're taking a shower, when you're on a jog, whatever it is. It's really good. But listen to us first, of course. Listen to us first. Yeah. With that said, now I really want to get into the first segment. Guys, we're bringing back Reddit. We're bringing back the hottest Reddit posts of the week. Maybe not of the week, but of the hour. And I picked out 3, and I'm hoping to bring this back and do this kind of all the time. But I picked out 3, and we're just going to talk through it. We're going to give, my opinions, Gil opinions, and then we're going to jump into the TWAB, of course, and then we're going to, we'll go through it all. First thing is first.
Max says no.
Of course he says no. Mex always says no. The fastest way to wreck a raid attempt is to start rolling your eyes at other players and treating them with contempt. Once you fail a couple times, I'd argue it's the number one reason raids fail. Gil, this is just a straight up statement. How do you feel about this?
I completely agree.
100%?
I mean, I 100% agree. Maybe not like 100%, probably like 82.3%. But I mostly agree. There, even on Saturday, the day the raid came out, I was not even Saturday, Sunday, day the raid, next day. I was like, it was me and like 5 other clanmates, and the energy was just not there. You were out of town. It was like energy was not there, and I was like, okay, I made the call, like we should just like step back and either take a break or just do this later.
Yeah.
And we didn't even end up doing it that same day. So it's a real thing. And then there might just be some people that genuinely do not understand what's going on. But it's easy to get after a certain amount of tries, right? Like back like day 1, Deepstone Crypt, we were on Atrax for like 8 hours.
Good times.
Good times. And like we just like could not get it down. And me and Nate, clanmate Nate, had to. It was like 5 o'clock in the morning where he was. It was midnight for me. I was like, I gotta go to bed, man. I'm too tired. And then we did not doing it. Day 1. Then I'm sure there's going to be encounters in Witch Queen.
Yeah, whatever that's going to be, whatever raid that's going to be.
Right. Considering it's a brand new raid. So, I mean, you never know. But I'd say this example here is probably the number one reason. I'd argue as well. Because all it takes is like one guy.
Yep.
And like people can get spicy. Like that's okay.
Yeah.
People can call people out if they're not gonna like own up to like just making a simple mistake. Like it's not that big of a deal. But like there were I LFG'd for VOG twice. Both in the same day. And both of these groups just had a couple of guys that were like, if we didn't do it like 5 times in like 5 attempts, they'd start getting pissed. I'm like, dude, relax. I sat there and said nothing.
First week.
First week. I mean, I sat there and said nothing. Like, I was just like, I'm not even gonna try to argue. I just want to get this done. But like, and it was on Atheon, which is why people were getting so mad.
Yeah. Which I think Atheon is the hardest.
Yeah.
Yeah, Atheon's the hardest.
It's understandable. Like any encounter that you get stuck on for a long period of time starts to get annoying. I know Shane knows.
So I want to add on to that real quick because the other day we were supposed to raid and we had missing people. Actually, shout out to Phoenix. He actually told us he wasn't going to make it and we didn't see it. We were like, "Oh, where's Phoenix? What's going on?" And we actually had enough people in the end. And I was like, "Dude, it took us too long, and we still could have done it." And I remember I made the call and I was like, "Darth." Again, shout out to Obsidian Gears. Shout out to our clan. And I was like, "Darth, I can't. You don't want. Everybody knows." They don't want a cranky chain gear raid. If there's one thing you don't want, it's a cranky chain gear raid. It's just not. You just don't want it. Like, and it's not. And you have to have the self. You have to be able to look inside yourself internally and be like, I know that I shouldn't be out here saying whatever I'm about to say. So I'm just gonna completely make sure I'm not involved right now. And that's definitely the way to do it. I love this Reddit post. I love this Reddit post. You can see how much it's upvoted. We upvoted it on our Reddit account. You know, it's rough. It really is rough. One of the biggest things that I know when I jump into an LFG, what I hear, it doesn't matter what I'm doing. It doesn't matter if I'm LFGing for a raid, if I'm LFGing for a nightfall, if I'm LFGing for for trials. It doesn't matter. Every time, the number one thing I hear, dude, how do you have this energy? They're like, where's this energy coming from? It's like 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, come on, guys, we gotta do this thing, because why else are you even doing it? You know what I mean? Like, don't LFG. If you guys want to LFG and you want to just run through it, you know exactly what to do. Especially PvP players. I'm looking at Mexican Synth right now, who's clowning up in the chat. You know, Mex knows that if you want to just play trials and get it done, you have a 2.0 KD or higher with 3 flawless runs this week, and you'll be fine. You'll find people, you'll be able to breeze through it, and you'll be fine. Same thing with the raid. You'll have 7 clears done this week. You know, I don't know, whatever. Have the best DPS in the world, whatever it is, right? But if you want to help people, meet new people, meet new friends or whatever, the best way to do it, I promise you, is come in with some good energy. What I like here is the top comment here says, actually, I think it's the best. The top. Oh, yeah, it is the top one. It's important to be comfortable with your group. Like, my friends and I give each other a lot of shit all the time, but that's because we're friends and we understand that we're just messing around. This is a great example. I mean, literally the other day we were Bullet was raiding with us, and we were talking about Transformers. One of my, I gotta stop saying that. I keep saying one of my favorite clanmates. I gotta stop doing that. Someone's gonna be like, "What about me?" Mm-hmm. But he's a great clanmate of ours. He does everything in the clan. He does everything in the game. And I was like, "Oh man, like Transformers, yeah, he's great." And Bullet was like, "Nah, Transformers trash." And like, we know Bullet's joking. We know Bullet. But if some random dude comes in and he's like, "Nah, y'all trash," and it's like, I don't know you. Don't I don't know you. So I don't know if you're joking or not. And they'd be like, "Oh, I'm just kidding." It's like, well, I don't know you, so relax. Especially if you're like really tense and things are, whatever. So anyway, I really like this. I don't want to spend a bunch of time talking about this, but Gil and I have recently been raiding a lot. Shout out to Mexican Synth. Shout out to Phoenix. Reactions. I'm excited to start raiding with you again, man. Next season, or jump back in. It's free to play on PlayStation, so you can always just jump back in on PlayStation. But next season, I'm really excited for crossplay. But yeah, man, I mean, we've been raiding a lot, and I mean, the times where I'm sitting there and I take a deep breath and I'm like, guys, we're good. We got this. We can do this. And we just have to be nice. And there are times where I'm like, how are we still messing this up, Darth? Shoot him! Like there's just times. But this is the truth. This is the truth. Rolling your eyes at each other and treating each other with contempt. During a raid, it is 100% a loss. And obviously a lot of people agreed. This got a lot of praise. So shout out to the leader.
Bullet said, "Don't use me as an example. I sound so mean."
Shout out to Bullet. Shout out to Darth. Thanks, guys, so much for joining.
That is a great example. It's like COD lobbies. You probably don't know.
Yeah, tell me more about that. What do you mean?
Oh my God, bro. You got, like, in Call of Duty multiplayer lobbies, you have the most obscene...
I mean, I know about the toxicity.
Profane, toxic people on the planet. It's not to that level.
We like Warzone. Yeah.
It's not to that level, but you run into some of the most, like, jerky, stupidly toxic people on LFG, which is like, I'm happy that I'm in a clan, so I don't have to do that. But, it's if you can find a good clan to be in, do it. Try and stay away from LFG as much as possible, unless
I think if you're a clan, I agree with you. I think if you can find a clan, find one. Looking at us right now, Obsidian Gears, find us, reach out to us. I think if you're a clan and you're looking to grow, LFG. grab 3 people, say, hey, looking to Sherpa, looking to help, and meet new people, find new people. There's a lot of solo players out there. And if you've had bad experiences, like you said, Gil, try and find people. Shout out to Civic, who's a newer member of our clan. Pretty busy, but we played with him a couple of times, and I mean, he told me a bunch of stories about how people just weren't nice to him during trials, and he doesn't like playing trials because of it. And then he met me, and he thought I was really good. I was like, I'm not even that good, but my energy was just nice. You know what I mean? I was like, hey, like, come on, let's do this thing. I don't care what your KD is, man. And if you do care, then don't play with randoms, right? So anyway, so hopefully everybody is on the same page here. Hopefully everyone is on the same page, but I just wanted to go ahead and go over that. Also, because we got a bunch of other people here in the chat, welcome. Hansel, Mex, Bullet, Darth, thank you guys so much for joining. Just a quick reminder, we do have a Twitter at Ghosts&Guardians, at Ghosts&Guardians. If you guys want to easily join, I believe I have a command. Hopefully this works. Twitter? Oh no! Oh no! Is it tweet? There it is. Nice. Okay. So we do have a command, so you guys can follow us on Twitter if you guys want. We really would appreciate it. Of course, we give our hot takes on everything on Twitter, just like everybody else does. Also, there's the YouTube channel !YT, and you guys can subscribe there as well. Because actually, Mexican Synth asked us to do segments. We'll be segmenting our podcast every week and posting it up on the YouTube channel very soon. I have to block out time to actually do that editing, and it takes a while to go through 2 hours of content. So give us a little bit of time there, but thank you guys so much. Awesome. Let's get to the next Reddit post. Maybe linear fusions would be used more if the majority of their perks were not prioritized, or were not prioritizing ad clear / PvP instead of sustained damage perks. Now, this is really interesting. And the reason I even want to bring this up is because Gil and I talked about this. We read a TWAB a while back talking about the ideology of weaponry in Destiny 2. And one of the things that they were talking about was, hey, we want linear fusions. This was explaining the linear fusion buff. They were like, we want linear fusion rifles to be like this. And they literally say it right here. This was quoted. Single target sustained damage, where the target has a handy crit spot. So literally think about, I always say the Christian raid, the Garden of Salvation raid boss, right? Has this big crit spot, and you just shoot it over and over again with a sniper rifle, right? That's what they're saying here. Single target sustained damage. And then the secondary is burst damage. So a big shot of burst damage at maybe a meaty target that's a little bit stronger, or even a bit more stronger than a normal red bar, right? But what this person is like, hold on, you take a look at weapons like Corsair's Wraith, right? And you're like, what is going on here? Firmly planted, outlaw, killing wind, moving target. No distractions.
Oh, we literally talked about this last night. I was like, I got a bounty from Ada to do Wrathborn hunts, and I was like, okay, Corsair's Wrath, let's get it. Okay, I do it. I look through the perk cancellations, and Vorpal isn't there.
There's no good perks. Like just to go through the rest of this, that was the first column, and then the second column you have Demolitionist, Thresh, High Impact Reserves, Quick Draw, Unrelenting, and Kill Clip. And just to be clear, some of these aren't terrible. High Impact Reserves actually can work really well on weapons that are good for sustained damage, but not when you don't have anything that allows you to reload faster. You could say Firmly Planted. No, because Firmly Planted does have that. I'm thinking of the Reserves perk. It's just bad. This is Corsair's Wraith here. Nothing here is good for sustained damage. Nothing here is even good for burst damage. It's all good for ad clear. So this was a very confusing thing here. New Reaction says, linear fusions are my baby. And by the way, I agree with that. I agree. I love linear fusions. I think they're really cool. I think they're I think linear fusions, I think fusion rifles in general are very like Destiny universe, right? You can have a gun in any game, but fusion rifles are very like Bungie feeling to me. But they're just not good. The only good one that I know I have and I was really looking for was a threaded needle, because you can get Clown Cartridge, you can get Rapid Hit, which will allow you to reload faster on consecutive hits, Auto-Loading Holster, which is the God Roll, Killing Wind, which is garbage, Rainfinder, which is garbage, and then Field Prep, which is the one I was talking about before. So these are all okay. Then you have Demolitionist, again, not good. Dragonfly, not good for sustained damage. Vorpal Weapon. So Auto-Loading Holster, Vorpal Weapon is the God Roll here. We actually said that.
Threaded Needle's like the GOAT.
And that's it. But basically only that roll. I mean, you can get a couple other things here. Again, if you get Crown Cartridge or Rapid Hit, and you don't get an Auto-Loading Holster one, or even Field Prep, and you get a Vorpal, you keep it, use it. Use it until you get an auto-loading. But it's just frustrating. And then Tarantula, which is brand new. Brand new. I mean, brought back, right? Brought back, I should say it that way. Brought back. Field Prep is the only good one. Firmly planted, moving target, feeding frenzy. Field Prep is the
box breathing.
Only good one. And box breathing is just broken. I don't even know why box breathing didn't get fixed. But I don't know how they want to fix it, but it's just bad. Box breathing is just bad. So, I mean, maybe I think the best Tarantula roll is Field Prep box breathing, probably. If you're going to use it for what it's used for. But why even do that when you just get one threaded needle and be done with it? This was sad. New Reaction says the exotic ones, all the ones I use, the exotic ones, all the ones I only use. I agree with you. The exotic ones are the only ones that you can really use.
I just want them to fix Sleeper.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. Yeah. But honestly, there's really no reason to use these linear fusions unless you're using Threaded Needle with Auto-Loading Holster and Vorpal Weapon. So that's that. Unfortunately, no Bungie employees or anything replied or anything like that. Maybe we'll get something. Another thing that they mentioned actually down here was why not give Linear's perks like Tap the Trigger or Fourth Time's the Charm. Basically, they're just snipers with charge times. There's really no reason not to give them those types of perks. Bring us back Firing Line, which we had back from one of my favorite seasons, Saint 14's season. So the fact that they got rid of these perks and never even brought them back, I don't know, kind of sad. So that is the second topic. We got one more topic, and then we're finally going to jump into the TWAB and the patch notes.
I have Vorpal and Rapid Hit on a Threaded Needle, New Reaction says.
See?
That's nice.
New Reactions knows. At Bungie, can we have some PvE buffs for Behemoth for compensation after the nerf intended for PvP? Behemoth was not even that strong in PvE. Now with the nerf, especially on mobility, Behemoth is so weak and much less fun. I understand its mobility is very problematic in PvP, and Bungie wants to have a similar sandbox for both PvP and PvE. Perhaps some PvE buffs that are non-mobility based might help for the subclass. Now, before we even jump in to the hotfix, because we are about to talk about that, so everybody strap in, buckle up. Darth, Bullet, Mex, I know why you guys are here. It's time to talk about the patch notes. I love to hear your guys' thoughts. Before we jump into that, I just wanted to say that a Bungie employee actually answered and said, "Yep, this is something on our radar." So one of the coolest things. Yeah, no worries. So this is one of the things I actually like the most about the beautiful community that is Reddit. Is that you can actually get Bungie employees coming in here and saying things like, this is on our radar. So to me, this is awesome. I agree. We're going to talk about the nerfs that came to Behemoth. And with that, let's go ahead and jump into the Destiny 2 hotfix 3.2.0.3. Once again, guys, thank you so much for joining. Hansel, I see that you're here. Don't worry, man. I didn't forget about you. We're gonna talk about these hot fix note patch things, and we're going to talk about how it's going to affect you in PvP, how it's going to affect you in PvE. We did talk about this a little bit before. I did do some testing though, so I know a little bit more, but I'd love to get people's opinions on hunters and warlocks and titans as well. So again, anybody who's still here, we'd love to hear your thoughts on all of this. Let's begin. Part 1, activities, free roam. Added an energy barrier to Scavenger's Den Lost Sector on EDZ. That's because people were skipping encounters. So basically just know you can't skip encounters for the Legend or Master difficulty Lost Sector. The Empty Tank Lost Sector will now actually reward the correct exotic gear. So if people were wondering about that, there you go. Raids. This is a big one. A lot of people have been thinking about this. Raids. Vault. Oh, hold up. Vault of Glass armor mods now appear in the collection tab. So that way you know that you're going to be able to, make sure you know if you have all of the armor mods. Fixed an issue where players can kill Atheon by tethering supplicants as they self-destruct. Fixed an issue where players could kill Atheon in the future Venus portal before starting the encounter. Fixed an issue where players could break Minotaur shields in the Gatekeeper encounter by using Prometheus Lens. Fixed an issue where the Aegis Relic blocking ability was not continuously blocking damage. So if you went into Vault of Glass thinking you could break those Minotaur shields with Prometheus Lens, you are looking like Gil right now. You're looking like a clown. You're looking like a clown. So they decided to fix all this stuff. I'm not surprised at all. If anybody thought that if anybody's surprised by this, people were farming hard Atheon. And so now they're like, okay, relax, play the game the way it's intended. So we caught up with us. It is what it is. Honestly, I'm pretty happy about the Prometheus Lens fix. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like to be able to cheese a raid too, but we actually never did this encounter the way it was intended. So like I said, if you're upset, you're looking like Gil right now. You're looking like a clown. Looking like a clown. All right. Gil, you want to take this next part? Gameplay and investment?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Let's do it.
Gameplay and investment. Armor. Path of Burning Status no longer grants a stack of its buff on becoming slowed by stasis, only when becoming encased or frozen.
So I don't have these legs yet.
Neither do I.
But I don't. It doesn't seem like people are really mad about it right now. It seems like generally people are okay with it. But I'm just putting that out there. I don't really have much of a horse in that race at this point. I don't have the legs, so unfortunately I can't speak on it. Sorry. Please, Gil, continue.
Star Eater Scales now correctly grants its damage bonus while the player is standing in a well of radiance.
That's good.
The status icon for Feast of Light now correctly scales up to ×8, gaining 1 stack per orb picked up. Fixed an issue where, when calculating super bonus damage, having 4 stacks of Feast of Light will now grant a 55% bonus to super damage. And having a full stack, 8 stacks, grants a 70% bonus to super damage. For the context, the original was 60% for 4 stacks.
Yeah. So this is like a nerf and a buff at the same time, which is good. Now, there were a lot of videos that talked about this, and obviously there was a bug with the 4 to 8 stacks. And now we can obviously see Star Eater Scale should be 100% working as intended. Originally, there were some glitches. Now it seems to be working as intended. So, cool. Why don't you take the next two as well? Weapons and bounties and pursuits.
Weapons. Fixed an issue where the Roar of the Worm ornament for Whisper of the Worm exotics geometry would disappear when walking against walls.
It was, I don't know if people have seen the Roar of the Worm ornament, but it was already like long enough that it was like outside of the screen when you looked at it, which was pretty funny. All right, Gil's taking off Gil's done looking like a clown.
That was a mistake.
I'm sure.
Bounties and pursuits. Fixed an issue where projectile melee ability kills weren't counting for progress for step 4 of the Iron-Handed Diplomacy quest.
All right.
And fixed an issue where the Capture Completionist Triumph would not properly unlock for some players.
So people didn't know that. There you go. If you were for some reason worried about it, I'm excited to talk about these melee abilities soon. Speaking of which, let's talk about Stasis. Yep. General Stasis, Stasis Freeze, reduced duration of all non-super freezes versus players to 1.35 seconds. Now, I tested this This is definitely the case. Here's a quick note: the freeze is too short to break out of, so breaking out is now only possible when frozen by supers. So I also tried this as well. Went on Behemoth, went in, froze my allies, or my clanmates. They were not my allies technically, but I froze them and they could break out of it. It worked. But if I froze them with my uppercut thing, or if I froze them with a nade, it was so fast that it didn't really, you didn't miss breaking out. Basically, the second you get frozen, the breaking animation starts to happen. So personally, I think it feels really good. You have to capitalize on this stuff pretty quickly. Lower skilled players who can't capitalize on people getting frozen or slowed, I think are going to notice a huge difference here, because they just have less reaction time. If your average TTK as a player was 2 seconds, you're gonna struggle on this. So putting that out there. Reduce special weapon, heavy weapon, and light ability bonus damage versus frozen players from plus 50% to plus 5. Big difference here as well. Most snipers are still gonna one hit. But I was using a slug shotgun at a range where originally it didn't matter what happened. If I hit you from afar, you were going to drop. But that was definitely not the case. Now, you do actually have to do what you need to do. You are going to have to push it. You are going to have to get the kill. You're going to have to chase after them. It's going to have to be a thing. So this, I think, overall, Stasis Freeze, the change in and how freezing works is good. I would love to know what the PvP boys in the chat feel about the Stasis Freeze. Gil, if you have any thoughts on the Stasis Freeze, that would be helpful as well. Let me know.
Yeah.
First of all, have you been able to play
Well,
today?
no.
Okay.
But I've seen it though. I've watched videos.
Okay.
I watched Astrocross video and I watched Cactus video. It looks good.
I was like, what?
I obviously, we all know everyone's hating PvP right now because of everything that's going on, or what was going on.
Yeah, if you're a scrub.
Yeah. Like me.
Like Darth. Just kidding, Darth. Just kidding.
And that's the one thing people hate the most. Getting frozen is just... I don't think it's ever going to be fun, obviously.
Yeah.
Like, getting frozen is not
getting
supposed to be
killed
fun.
isn't fun.
Yeah. But it shouldn't take away from you having fun in Crucible. IMO. But...
Look. That argument, I think, is a little... I'm playing devil's advocate here. That argument has always been rough for me. If I throw a sticky grenade at you and you get blown up, and I shoot you with a grenade launcher, you get blown up. If I shoot you with a rocket launcher, you get blown up. If I use super and I throw a hammer at you and you get blown up. If I hit you with a thunder crash and you get blown up, you're not going to like it. It's not fun. You know what I mean? Getting killed isn't fun. I understand that freezing might not be fun. But I think when you go deeper into it, I think for me, I think freezing is interesting, especially if you watch, again, I'm just putting it out here, the Destiny Community podcast. They made a really good point. They were basically saying they were so concerned about Stasis not being good, they way overtuned it. And the reason is because this was their thought. They were saying, why would anybody want to freeze somebody instead of killing somebody? Right? They were like, why would anyone want to use shurikens that slow and freeze someone comparatively to using a one-hit kill throwing knife? Right. That's what they were thinking about, which is so interesting because when you think about that, this change in time when frozen makes all the sense in the world. The change to 1.35, which is the TTK similar to body shots, it's, for a lot of weapons. Because the TTK for headshots for most weapons is 1 second or lower. So anything higher is just body shot damage TTK. Being frozen for that much of a time, it's much more aligned with punishing someone, which isn't going to feel good because you messed up, right? I think that was the thing. Now we're going to talk about some of these other stasis things, which I'll get more into it. But I'm with you that it wasn't fun. I don't think 1.35 is going to be fun when people are getting shot up when they're frozen still for 1.35. But I think at least people can't complain as much about it, especially with the reduction of how much damage is done. Because you can't just be like, oh, I froze you, now I'm gonna body shot you with a rapid fire sniper, because you can't. You still have to get the headshot. Not the same for like an adored or a high impact or whatever aggressive. But anyway, that's Stasis Freeze. Should we move on to the slow?
Indeed.
All right. Stasis Slow no longer reduces weapon accuracy. This is great. This was a great change, but it does increase flinch when under fire. I forgot to test the weapon flinch, but I did test the weapon accuracy. Basically, when you get hit with a stasis field or any kind of slow, nothing changes. Like you're just slower. So originally you would get hit with that, and it felt like your whole world was rocked. Like your gun flew out of your hand and you had to grab it again. And then you were like, oh God. No, not the case anymore. You get frozen and that's it. I mean, you get slowed and that's it. But again, if you do take that incoming fire, it is going to be rough on you. A lot of this is going to come down to, did you already damage the person? When they're trying to push you, where was your angling? Can you hit them with body shots even, or headshots if you're able to shoot through the flinch? So it's nice. I think this has been really, really good. I think the biggest thing is that you can now counter being slowed by utilizing class abilities or air moves, like for example, Icarus Dash, with a melee on Titan, which we're definitely going to talk about, or of course rolling. So this is pretty big. And then the movement speed penalty while slowed is now much less, at about 20%. So slowing is still good. It's still good, but it is no longer, a death sentence. And we all saw the end of the glacial grenade and the rise of the slow bubble grenade. The slow bubble grenade was probably the most... I mean, people were just using that left and right. So, yeah. Any thoughts on that, Gail? What do you think? I know you haven't played with it, so I know it's a little bit hard to give your thoughts on it. But even just in theory, and I know we talked about it a little bit before as well, but what I guess let me put it this way. Are you happy or are you sad about this? Does this make you go, oh man, thank God the slow...
happy.
Okay.
Of course, all of this makes me happy, yeah.
I don't feel that way about some of these changes.
Yeah, I know, but you're just a Titan main that just wants his movement.
Leave me alone. Whisper of Hedrons. Guys, this is now my favorite fragment. I know that sounds a little crazy, but this is now my favorite PvP fragment. Let me tell you why. No longer increases weapon damage after freezing. Now, one of the reasons I like this is because this is one of those things where it's like if you're good, you're now much better, right? If you are really good at this game and you can get your freezes off, whether it be with overpowered shurikens before this patch, whether it be the still really strong freeze from a warlock, or even just a grenade, when you freeze someone, you would just get not kill clip levels, if I don't remember, I think it's like 2 rampage level. I think it was 10%. I don't know if that was enough to 2-tap with a 120, but you're just getting more damage for being able to slow someone, and a lot of the time slowing someone was easy. So that's frustrating, but no longer. Now, if you can get that skilled shot off, freeze someone, which is now much more skilled than it was before, and we'll talk about that too. Now you're getting the ability to have better stability, aim assist, mobility, resilience, and recovery. I love this. The biggest thing is stability and aim assist. Mobility, resilience, and recovery, basically to me, in my head, that means you'll be able to reset faster, get into a position faster, or get your class ability back faster. But when it comes to stability and aim assist, if you freeze somebody, you should not miss. I think it's for the next 7 seconds. Whatever comes your way,
10.
10 seconds. Whatever comes your way, If you miss, it is 100% on you. This gun, this is gonna aim for you. Tunnel vision, heating up, love those. But hedrons, it gives you those for free. It gives you those for free. It's honestly really, really cool. Gil, I'm excited for you to try it. Because it's one of those things where, Whisper of Hedrons was I would say it was overpowered in a lot of ways. I know some people are upset about it for PvP, but I feel like, or PvE, excuse me, but I feel like there's so many ways to get damage buffs that I'm okay with it personally.
That much.
Yeah. And I think another thing is that the stasis is moving away from damage, which I don't think it ever really should have been. And it now instead is more around what it was designed for, which is crowd control. Crowd control. So I think you're going to see 1 or 2 stasis users on a team, and I think everybody else will probably be light subclasses, right? I think you're going to say, hey, let's have one person to be able to punish people from moving into particular situations. Otherwise, we're going to go top tree solar for hunters, bottom tree arc for titans, things like that. So we'll see how it goes. Whisper of Rhyme no longer works when you have your super. So basically, if you have a super, you freeze someone, kill them, you're not going to get the overshield. So just know that. I think this makes a lot of sense. There were people who would pop their super in Titan, make a bunch of crystals, shatter them all, grab the overshield, and not even kill anybody, just for a full overshield. I think this makes sense. I mean, it sucks for PvE, but I don't even really like Whisper of Rhyme that much, to be honest, even with being able to use it in your super. So I don't think we're going to see much play with Whisper of Rhyme in general. I think it really only works if you have 3 people using stasis, making crystals everywhere. I don't think this is going to be a big deal. Any thoughts on either of those, Gil, before we move on to one of the bigger changes that I did test?
No.
Cold Snap Grenade. Whew, and again, I'd love to know what people think about this, because Cold Snap Grenade really got a big nerf. Personally, I'm a big fan of it. It is a much more, you have to use it very differently than you used to before. Originally, you would throw this grenade, and in 0.3 seconds, it would find its target, and it would track it down, and it would just freeze you. There was only one thing you could do, which was jump in the air long enough for the grenade to dissipate. That was the only thing you could do to get away from a cold snap. Not anymore. Number 1, Seeker no longer tracks target after initial target acquisition. Now, what this means is different than what we thought in the last TWAB. Gil, what this means is that if you're right in front of me and I throw a cold snap in the middle of the ground and it starts to go after you, it basically says, oh, that's where you are, and I'm going to go there. If you move to the right or the left, it won't go there. It only curves a little bit. It doesn't if you jump over it, it doesn't then turn around and come back at you. It is very particular. So it's still very good at what it does, which is freezing someone, but it really is much more punishing if you can kind of get somebody on a corner. Oh, they're peeking over there. Oh, we know they're going to come into this lane, right? That's what it's going to be really good for. It's no longer good for just throw it and pray. It's no longer just good for a Hail Mary or an insta-kill. A lot of hunters like to jump into a situation, throw down a cold snap, and just start spraying. It doesn't work that way anymore. Another reason that it doesn't work that way is because it went from a 0.3 to a 0.8 activation time. What that means is it's closer to about 1 second to actually activate and start going towards the target. I can actually throw a cold snap at an enemy and it will sit there for a second. Even if it's at the enemy, it will sit there for a second and then it will go ahead and proceed to freeze them. So there's a lot more space and time for you to react to that cold snap than there was before. And then the last 2 things I want to mention is, of course, reduce detonation radius versus players from 3 to 1.5 meters. So that means you can't freeze an entire team. Well, I mean, you still can technically, but it would be very hard because it's only 1.5 meter radius compared to 3. Where when you throw that cold snap and it freezes the enemy, it would freeze everyone around it. But now it will only freeze the closest person that's buddying up next to their enemy, if that makes sense. And it now bounces off of walls and then detonates off the ground. I actually like that better because you can kind of say,
Yeah.
oh, I'm going to throw it in there. It's going to bounce behind them. And if they're still focused on me, they're going to get frozen.
Especially when it goes in a straight line.
Exactly.
Like, you're not going to throw it on a wall.
Yeah. Now, it does do a little bit of curving, but I promise you, you are going to notice the difference in cold snap grenades. You're probably not going to like it when you use it, but you're going to love it when it doesn't kill you.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be particular people that Stasis is going to work for. I think there's going to be particular people out there who are like, man, I like the fact that I have to be really good with these abilities to be able to give my team space or punish people that go into an area that I don't want them to go into. So I think Stasis is still going to be good, but this definitely nerfs it. Into the ground? No. But it definitely nerfs it, and I think it's a pretty good nerf, personally.
Yeah. Indeed. I can go over Titan Behemoth if you want.
Yeah, you go over it so I don't have to cry.
Okay.
I definitely have my thoughts on it because I don't have many thoughts on the other ones, but this one is my baby, so please.
Yeah. Titan Behemoth. Shiver Strike. Reduce flight speed and distance. Reduce knockback versus players. And removed slow detonation on player impact.
Pause.
So you don't get slowed when you get hit by it.
This is the thing that I want to talk about the most.
Oh, yeah?
It's awful. They nerf Shiver Strike into the ground.
Really?
So I'm working and I check my phone and I see Destiny Fun Police, DFP, makes a video on Shiver Strike. He actually makes a video on the entire thing, but on the entire Behemoth nerf. But he talks about Shiver Strike and he's like, oh man, this is like as slow as, basically flying through molasses. He says treacle, but flying through, like I just gained a bunch of weight and I'm just like, whoa. And I was like, it can't be that bad, right? I go in, I try it myself, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is pretty bad. It's pretty slow. I'm not moving the way I was. And I start going, oh, maybe it's not a big deal. Maybe it's fine. I get one of our clanmates to come in, and I'm like, hey, let me punch you real quick. I punch him. He hits a wall. He does not die. He also does not get slowed. And I go, well, what's the point of this? What's the point of this? What's the point of this? It's awful. I don't understand the point of it. I was trying. I was sitting there. And I'm like, why would I ever use this? The only way to use this, which by the way, it only does 104 damage. The only way to actually use Shiver Strike is if you already cleared the shield off of the enemy. Then you can go ahead and Shiver Strike to get the kill. If you Shiver Strike, you will not get the kill, which Gil, I think you've probably heard me complain about this before. People complain about shoulder charging. And I'm always like, dude, I never complain about shoulder charging because I could just shotgun the person that shoulder charges me. I see him running straight at me, I shotgun him. This is even worse. If I see somebody running at me with a fist, I'm like, well, you can't kill me. So all I'm gonna do is keep spraying while you push me, and then when you push me back, I'm just gonna keep shooting you and you're gonna die. So I have no idea what the purpose of Shiver Strike is anymore. I have no idea. That is my hot take on Shiver Strike. I do not like it. I am very upset by the nerf. And we'll talk more about how the storm in a minute. Go ahead, Gil. I'm sorry.
All right. No, I understand. That's how I felt about the first nerf to the little effing dinkers for the hunters.
Oh, the Withering Blade.
Yeah.
We'll talk about
first
that too.
nerf.
We'll talk about that too.
Cryoclasm. Now requires the Titan to sprint for 1.25 seconds before activation when not in super. Remove the cooldown.
I love it.
Yeah?
You thought I was going to hate it. I thought I was going to hate it. I was just like, yeah, this is kind of nice. So for a long time, I was like, yo, what if they gave us an exotic that made us lose our shoulder charge, but gave us movement? That's what this is. I could be wrong, but the time that it takes to get this activated, I think is the same amount of time it takes to activate a melee on Top Tree Solar, on Top Tree Arc, on Top Tree Void, I think. Maybe it's Bottom Tree.
Oh, yeah, because it makes that like graphic.
Yeah, and that same graphic exists for you to go ahead and slide. But it's infinite. I can do it whenever I want. And it'll never go away. So I actually really like it. You do have to be more strategic when getting into a situation because you can't get out of it. So you know how a
Right.
hunter can dodge and they get out of a situation or into it, but they can't do it twice, right? The only way they can do it twice is if they have an exotic.
Yeah.
That's not the case here. So I actually really, really like it. You can only do it once, and then you have to run again to be able to, get out of a situation. So you have to know that you want to slide in. I think we might see a resurgence of, oh man, me and Bullet were just talking about it. The boots that Titans were wearing that were overpowered at one point, where you slide and you block things. I haven't used it.
Teus Ward.
And Teus Ward, thank you so much. I think we might see that again because it's the same amount of time to proc in Teus Ward. So, interesting. I don't dislike it. The cooldown remove feels good. And when you're in Super, you can keep doing it as much as you want. So,
Nice.
I like it personally. I think it's good.
Nice. Howl the Storm, which is the slide melee ability for Titans. Reduced angle of initial freezing damage cone. Reduce the crystal creation freezing radius. Slowed down a sequence of crystal formation to allow victims more opportunity to escape, and now spawns a small crystal on walls if performed into walls.
People who are not good at this game are going to be upset. People who are good at this game, they're not going to care. Luckily, I am one of the elite, and I'm good at this game. No, I'm just kidding. This is a skill shot. It is exactly where you see the crystals is where the enemy can be frozen. A great example is shout out to Risen Phoenix, who's here in the chat, or Archaic Phoenix in the clan. He was testing with me, and he was directly on the right. I'm talking like 1 degree to the right from my, Howl the Storm, and he did not get frozen. So you have to hit them. And I'm telling you, man, I'm one of those people that was abusing Howl the Storm. I would come around an angle, around a corner, and I would just throw that thing, and everybody would be frozen. I was like, yeah, it suck, huh? But no way. You can't do that anymore. Which I think is good. I think it's good. I think it's good that it's a skill shot now. There's nothing wrong with Howl the Storm being a skill shot. And I think now that Cryoclasm has its thing removed, I think people are going to use it a lot more. It's cooldown removed. I think people are going to use Cryoclasm, go into Howl the Storm, and Shiver Strike because it's completely worthless. I think people are now going to just use Howl the Storm if they're going to run Behemoth at all. Yeah. There's just no reason to have a normal melee, to have normal Shiver Strike, unless you're going to run Syntheseps, maybe. So Howl the Storm, to me, now almost becomes a must-have because Shiver Strike's so bad, and I do have to be better, which I think is good, personally.
Yeah. Indeed. I don't know much about Titan Stasis, so I don't really have much to say on it, which is why I'm just letting Chain talk about all of it. So
you'll get frozen less.
Yeah,
that's what this means. Is you'll get, whenever you see that Howl the Storm come up, you'll get frozen less. Trust me.
Glacial Quake, reduced heavy slam vertical freeze range versus players, and reduced damage resistance from 50% to 47%.
Yeah, I think basically this means you can get probably headshot by something that you couldn't before. I don't really care about the damage resistance. Don't get hit when you're in super. A lot of people just like to run. Don't get hit when you're in super. That's one thing. The vertical freeze range I think is weird. I didn't actually test that. I forgot. But it's important to recognize because if you're going against some hunters that are hippity hoppity, you might not be able to freeze them the way that you did before. I'll definitely test this, but
I watched Cross's video on it.
Okay, what did he say?
He tested it with a sniper against the damage resistance.
Oh, for damage resistance.
Yeah, before it didn't one shot with a sniper to the head.
Now it does.
Yeah.
So I knew it. And it was. Did he test with an adaptive like a Dord or something?
I think it was Far Future or Dord.
Oh, okay.
It was one of them.
Yeah, Far Future is an aggressive, but I think I watched DFP and DFP used it in a Dord, and he got headshot, and I was like, oh, okay, which I think is good. I think that's fine. That's good.
Yeah. I think any sniper should one shot to the head, but personally,
I think rapid fires shouldn't. I think that would be crazy if a rapid fire could one shot to the head. I mean, they're rapid fire. I mean, what are they? 140s or something like that? They shoot extremely fast. That would be crazy. I think if they one shot to the head in a super. I think outside of the super, they one shot to the head. Everything one shots to the head for snipers. But I think for a super, I think that would be a little overkill. I think you have to make sure you make the decision to run something aggressive with Vorpal.
Yeah.
All right, my turn.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's right. I want to make fun of your class now. Hunter
Make fun of your
Revenant.
class.
I know, no. You've been very nice to me about it. I appreciate it. Hunter Revenant, Withering Blade, reduce slow duration versus players from 2.5 to 1.5. It is noticeably shorter. I'm excited. I'm wondering if you, by the way, if you want to test this later, Gil, let's definitely test it out. You will. I mean, I got frozen. I got slowed. I was like, okay. If you're good, again, you're being slowed for the amount of a body shot TTK. But 2.5 was painful. You were just like, okay, I'm slowed long enough for someone 1 second in to come find me randomly, or even 1.5 seconds in, and still kill me within a body shot TTK. That's insane.
Yeah.
But now you got to capitalize on this slow. Whisper of Durance, slow duration extension versus players from 2 seconds to, reduced it, from 2 seconds to 0.5 seconds. Now, if I remember correctly, Whisper of Durance, that's the one that just extends slows, I believe, right? It's just like, oh, slows are better, slows are stronger. I'm hoping. I think that's the case. Are you checking now?
Right now.
Yeah. I'll keep going while you look that up. Reduce damage versus players from 65 to 45, and after one bounce, reduce further to 30. Definitely notice the difference on this as well. This will not break shields. 245s does not break shields. That's a 90 damage. That's not enough to break shield for someone with high resilience like myself. So this is really a utility. Right? You're going to slow somebody. You're going to clean up a kill. You're going to start an engagement. You're not just throwing these into the middle and breaking shields, slowing people, freezing them completely, and then killing them. This is much more utility-based. You want to get kills? Use a throwing knife. Otherwise, if you want to, freeze people and mess them up, that's what you're going to, not freeze, slow people, Withering Blade. Did you get the answer for Durance? I keep saying Durance.
Yeah. This thing's actually really good.
Is it the slow? What is it?
Yeah. Whisper of Durance. I'm going to read this whole, paragraph.
Yeah.
Whisper of Durance causes all slow debuffs from your stasis abilities to last much longer.
Yeah.
Now, as you see here, they reduce that by 1.5 seconds. The Revenant's Silence and Squall super also gains a duration increase, causing the Ice Tornado to last 16 seconds instead of 12.
What the heck? I didn't even know that was a thing.
Neither did I.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's crazy. Well, anyway, now we know it's instead of 2 seconds, it's 0.5. And I think that's good, too, because that means this is a total of 2 seconds, right? Which, again, I think if you need that extra time or you want that extra time, Whisper of Durance is going to be worth putting on. Reaction says, I'm sad. The stars were my babies. I mean, the good thing is, look, the stars aren't bad. Right? I think that's the big thing is if you're a good player, I don't want to say if you're good. If you're a top player, right? If you throw a star at someone, you're going to be able to capitalize on that much better than an average player. So if you're an average player, you probably were just throwing those stars and you were like, yeah, I got a freeze or I got a slow and they're going to be slowed forever. This is going to make you have to capitalize much, much faster. Just like cold snap grenades. As we were talking about before, cold snap grenades are now much shorter as well. And again, it's just one of those things where you're going to have to say, hey, I've got these two utilities, which is throwing this star, slowing somebody, and we've got to... By the way, I know I'm not a Hunter main. I know people are probably just like, Chain, you're not a Hunter main. Shut up. You don't know what you're talking about. The reason I'm so frustrated about Shiver Strike is because the slow aspect is gone. So the Shiver Strike has no use anymore, whereas Withering Blade still has a use. You might not like it. It might not be good. It might no longer be what you want. You can't get straight up kills with it. You can if they're already weak. If an ally already damaged them, if you already damaged them, if you body shot someone and throw a shuriken at them, you might be able to kill them. But it's different now, right? You have to use it differently. You have to think about it a little bit differently. Sure, you can still go into a lane and just throw them both down, see what you hit, but you got to capitalize on that really fast. So, new reactions says Mexican Sin says same Hunter hate SMH. New reaction says I only use the stars with Monty, and I would get kills with them and get ×5 with Monty. So I don't know how this affects. By the way, I don't know how this is versus players. So if you're talking about PvE reactions, which I think you were, if you're talking about PvE, this won't change. This will not change. You will still do 65 damage or whatever it was against, enemies, PvE enemies. It will still do more damage. Okay, you were talking about PvP. So again, 130 damage isn't enough to get a kill, right?
So these are all the PvP changes?
This one is. This one says reduce damage versus players. Not all of them. So this slow duration versus players, but this versus players. Projectile speed is reduced by 10, period. No matter where you are, projectile speed is reduced by 10. But all of these are only PvP. Just put that out there. Reaction says he's talking about PvP in particular. Yeah, I mean, again, 130 damage, which is 2 shurikens, could not get a kill for you before. So you still would have had to damage them. And again, that's the thing, right? Is like, if you want to get kills with a projectile, use a throwing knife, right? And that's the idea now, is saying, hey, you want to get a kill with this? You got to go throwing knife. Now, that's not saying they might give us something later that says, hey, throw 1 Rasengan Shuriken and, for the cost of 2 and, get an insta-kill. Who knows? But anyway, I understand your pain. I know I'm obviously trying to justify the change here, but I know I'm probably being rude. Okay. Well, the next thing is reduced projectile speed by 10%. So, you're going to have to do a little bit better at tracking. And then reduce tracking after bouncing off a wall. Again, 2 things that you're going to have to focus on a little bit more. Reaction says, if only that exotic would be sick. I agree. It would be cool to get a Rasengan Shuriken exotic. Winter Shroud. Reduced slow duration versus players from 2.5 to 1.5. Same exact slow duration for Withering Blade. And again, reduced Whisper of Durance slow duration extension versus players from 2 seconds to 0.5. Are you upset about this, Gil?
I love Winter Shroud.
Dude, it's so overpowered, dude. It's so annoying. Dude, it was the worst thing. You'd go, run around. I'm like, all right, time to shotgun this guy. I'm, behind a corner. He peeks. I go out. I'm ready to shotgun. Rolls behind me or rolls to the side of me. I'm like, oh, crap. I get frozen for 2.5 seconds. Or 4.5 seconds. 4.5. Can we talk about this? Hold on. 4.5 seconds. That's how long you could have been slowed for. So you would have got Whisper of Durance, Winter Shroud. You get frozen slowed, which I don't know, probably 40 stacks maybe of getting slowed for 4.5 seconds, and then you throw a shuriken. Increase the time by another 4.5 seconds. No, that's crazy, man. That's crazy. I understand where people are coming from, and they're like, "Oh no, my subclass." But dude, this was overpowered. This was crazy. You were getting people slowed for up to 8 seconds, 12 seconds. That was crazy. That clip of the one dude with the warlock who just froze him 8 times in a row. That's basically what this is. Hunters were combining slows a bunch of times, which would eventually freeze the target. Oh my god, it was insane. And there's no way to cancel getting slowed. And now there's no way to cancel getting slowed. You used to be able to cancel getting slowed by the boots, but now that all the slows are so short, it seems like they got rid of that. Winter Shroud, I still think it's very good. I still think if you're a Stasis main, you probably should wear it. You can wear Bacchus, but Winter Shroud is definitely going to be good. So, hey, put it on if you want to put it on. Touch of Winter. Cold Snap Seeker no longer has increased movement speed or travel distance. This was crazy. I didn't know. One time I got frozen like immediately. I was like, what the heck? I've never seen a cold snap move like that before. I was like, what the heck are these? Also, it shouldn't have been on hunters in the first place. Yeah, I mean, this is going to be interesting because if I remember correctly, now 2 cold snaps will come out, right? Is that how Touch of Winter works? Gil? Resident Hunter?
No.
It's just, so the only thing that changes, cold snap. Hold on, I gotta Google this. I don't remember. Do you know what it does?
No, cold snap just you used to throw it down and it would track, and then once it froze someone, it would sneak to another person. And I think it would just be 2 people. But then people could also get frozen if they were in the detonation radius. But with the Touch of Winter, it would allow it to track another time, and it was faster and had longer travel distance. So it was like, for me, being a hunter main, so much fun. But I assume for the other people,
must have been nice.
Must have been nice.
So the only thing it does is chain 1 additional time.
Correct.
Yeah. Honestly, to me that makes a lot. I think Touch of Winter was wild.
I mean, with getting your tracking or like heavy tracking, was a travel distance nerf needed?
I don't know.
I mean, if it's going to go in a straight line, I mean,
I think if people were running Touch of Winter originally, again, I'm not a main, right? I'm not a hunter main. But if people were running, I don't even have Touch of Winter. If you have Touch of Winter and you were like, oh yeah, time to just use grenades, because they're just better than everyone else's grenades by a lot. I mean, I can understand this doesn't cost you anything, but using instead of, or did it cost something like maybe minus intellect or something like that?
No, that's an aspect. Aspects don't cost anything.
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. Like, I feel like this was just really strong to me. Like, yep, buff all your grenades. Doesn't matter what you use. It's just gonna be great. I thought it was an exotic. Remember when I first heard it, I was like, "Oh, is this an exotic? That's crazy."
Yeah.
And they're like, "No, it's a fragment." I was like, "A fragment?" Aspect.
I'll tell you what. Duskfield buff, Touch of Winter buffed in PvE.
Yeah.
Is awesome. Because you pull a bunch of enemies in and it spawns a little crystal in the middle, so they get frozen instantly.
Yeah, then you shoot it, right?
You shoot the crystal and everything blows up.
Yeah.
It's great.
I imagine. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think to me I feel like this makes sense. Like cold snap grenades, they'll be able to chain another time. Like I feel like that's still good in PvE, and it's not bad in PvP. I mean, no, it's not what it used to be, but it's not bad, right? I think it's not nerfed into the ground. Like
waiting for a taken captain to flash step away from my grenade. But
right. All right, that was Hunter Revenant. I know you haven't tried it yet, Gil, but happy to play with it with you and see how you feel about it. And we can talk about it next week if that works for you. You want to read Shadebinder?
Warlock Shadebinder. Penumbral Blast. Reduce tracking and proximity detonation size and tracking versus players. Reduce freeze radius versus players when impacting the environment from 2.7 to 1.5. W.
Yeah, I think this is good. I mean, the tracking was insane. Actually, on Penumbral Blast it wasn't bad. That was the melee. It wasn't that bad. But again, I think skill shots are good in Destiny. I don't think skill shots are bad in Destiny. I think they're good. Proximity destination size going lower. I also think it's just adding to the skill, the skillness of it. Reducing the freeze radius when impacting the environment. I think that was huge. I didn't even know that existed. So again, the only nerf that this took was an ease of use nerf. So I think the nerfs to Revenant and Behemoth are much stronger, where you're changing the way that Shiver Strike even works. You're changing the way Cryoclasm works. Whereas, you're looking at Glacial, Quake, and Howl of the Storm, it's just a skill boost. You have to use more skill. Withering Blade, it's definitely different. Yes, you have to use more skill because of these two things, right? But, these right here, this requires, I guess you could say that this also adds more skill. Is like, well, you have to capitalize on it faster. But it does also effectively change the way you're using them in some ways. So, this right here, the Warlock Shadebinder, not too bad for the Penumbral Blast. Anyway, please continue. We got two more.
Isler Bolts. Seeker now only chains once when spawned from a player shatter. Winter's Wrath. Freezing projectile tracking strength now ramps down to 0 after 2 seconds of flight.
Oh. Yeah, that's good, man. That was crazy. I don't know if people have seen it, but if you try and outrun that thing for 2 seconds, it doesn't matter. 5 seconds, that thing would just start following you around caves and everything. Oh, these things were crazy. I think this is a good nerf. You want to read the rewards real quick too?
Sure.
Read us out.
Seasonal reward sources, including locked override chests and the weekly vendor challenge, now correctly contain seasonal class armor items and have been updated to reduce the frequency of getting duplicate items in succession.
That's nice.
Good.
Yeah, reducing the frequency of getting duplicate items in succession. That is definitely what you want to hear.
Yeah. The Ironbender machine gun and shotgun now dropped from the Ironbender engram. It's time to get some Wraithwalkers.
Thank God.
Vault of Glass Director Tooltip will retain its pinnacle drop notification for classes that have not yet cleared it each week, as drops will still be available.
That's also good. Don't miss any
Vault
pinnacles.
Yes. Vault of Glass secret chests are now probably dropping Titan and Warlock armor. Vault of Glass vendor purchase of the Templar package no longer occasionally grants incorrect weapons or armor. Apparently that was doing that. Vault of Glass vendor purchase of the Templar package is no longer locking itself out due to incorrectly detecting if the player has obtained all of its possible results for the current character class.
That's crazy that it was doing that.
Yeah. I haven't experienced it.
I haven't even bought anything from the the vendor.
Yeah. Vault of Glass vendor purchases of Conflux, Gatekeeper, and Atheon packages now correctly grant armor when such a result is rolled instead of nothing.
Nice. Okay. So, big patch notes. It took us a little while to get through it. Overall, I'm happy with it. I only really dislike one thing, for me personally, and that's the Shiver Strike. That's about it. I like all the other nerfs. I like all the other changes. Shiver Strike is the only thing where if you use it, you're going to feel like it was rough. You're going to be like, oof, that was not great. It doesn't feel good at all. So we'll see what... Yeah. Also, the shiver part no longer is involved. So anyway, I'm salty about it. I'm upset. Makes me so sad. Yeah. Gil, what do you think overall?
Good nerfs. Except for your baby Shiver Strike. Personally, my experiences with Shiver Strike make me want to throw up in my mouth. So,
more than getting shoulder charged?
Well, I haven't played enough to be annoyed by shoulder charges, but
okay.
I wasn't around for all that.
Right.
But, I'm sure it's annoying. But dude, Shiver Strike, like playing Crucible, I'd be running, and then you see some dude literally go and just like track me like a cold snap grenade, and like he like moves at like a 90-degree angle in like half a second, and
bro, you gotta quick draw
hits
shotgun,
me into a wall.
Bang, you know. Well, now you cannot get hit into a wall. It won't happen. And you'll see it like this instead of going, it's gonna go. I promise you, it's garbage. It's garbage. Today will probably be the most fun for people to play PvP if they know about these changes, because you're gonna get Titans who are like trying to punch you, and you're like, what are you doing, kid? You're gonna get hunters who are like throwing shurikens, dodging, and you're like, what's going on here? You know. So if you know these changes, get into PvP and have some fun. Right? New reactions. All right, guys. These are all the patch notes. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll post. Let me just throw the link in the chat real quick, just in case people wanted to go ahead and take a look at it themselves. But now it's time to get into actually a quite short TWAB. This week at Bungie. 6/03/2021. Guys, happy June. Gil, happy June, man.
Happy June.
Happy June. Happy Pride Month. Happy Pride Month. Yeah, it's cool. This week at Bungie, Mithrax told the legend of the Saint. Pause. It's been a while since myself and the Paracausal co-host talked about lore. It's been a while since we talked about story. And I want to talk about it today. I want to talk about it. Gil, we both of us just did Expunge yesterday. Expunge, the newest weekly quest. Spoilers ahead if you guys haven't done the weekly Expunge quest. I thought it was excellent. What did you think?
It was great.
You want to tell us, maybe don't say everything, give us a quick rundown of what the Expunge mission was and of course the story afterwards.
Yeah. So the Expunge mission is the weekly new weekly thing.
Story mission, yeah.
Yeah. And we got sent. I mean, even that's a spoiler.
No. I mean, it's okay to like talk about it, right? I mean, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's been out for a couple days now, but don't go into like extreme detail, right?
Right. We get sent into basically destroy another disturbance.
The Vex network.
Deep in the Vex network. And the like how they do it. How they section it is awesome. Like you get this ball, and you have to like get this ball, and the ball will run out. It basically has a timer for how long you can hold it, and you have to like hit all these checkpoints. And like to get to the checkpoints, there's going to be lasers. There's going to be ads. They got to deal with. I did it with Clammate Crimson. I was literally carrying this dude because he kept dying over and over.
Crimson, Crimson.
And like that's like the main mechanic for the entire thing. But what was so good is the fact that like they put in these mechanics in like a regular weekly mission activity. And they executed it so well.
Yeah.
Like I'm surprised how like fun it was.
To me, it felt like I was playing a mini game.
Yeah.
Like I think most of the time people always complain. They're always like, which I think is a very unfair complaint, but they're like, oh my God, it's always the same thing. It's Gambit. You got to go pick up the motes and bank them. You got to pick up the ball and throw it. You got to, it's all like the same thing every time. Which I do really believe is an unfair thing to say. I think when you take a look, that's like saying, oh, Call of Duty is always the same. You just shoot stuff, whatever. I mean, everybody plays, they like it, right? This was the first time I was like, oh, this is different. You pick up a ball, you go to a checkpoint, and there are almost like two maps, right? Like you went to the left side, you had one map, you had to deal with the ads. It's very fun if you have a fire team because two of the fire team can just run out and kill ads, and then you can just grab the ball and get to the checkpoints every time. And the checkpoints, like you said, are spawn points. And then you finish that level, you go to the second level. I was like, oh, time to get to the next level. And then there's a boss at the end.
Yeah,
I loved
it. Like a giant hydra. It's like a giant hydra. Minotaur. No,
that's a Cyclops. Yeah. Goblin. It's a giant goblin.
But I don't think we've gotten a boss like that. We've never gotten a giant goblin.
No, I don't think we have. No. Mm-mm. Not even like a giant hobgoblin. No. Nope.
No, the Pyramidion.
Is a giant hobgoblin?
Yeah. That boss was a giant hobgoblin.
I thought it was a... Oh, right. I was thinking of the Minotaur for the other one. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Good point. Sorry. Go ahead. Please continue. Giant harpy, massive harpy.
Oh, I completely forgot I was saying I was stuck on a giant goblin. Um, Mechanics they made in just a weekly activity, how fun they actually made it for being so simple is awesome.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see what they do next week. And the boss room, how they like do that, like after you get the first phase of damage down.
Right.
Cool.
Yep.
Pretty cool. And those lasers will mess you up, dude.
Yeah.
So
I also liked how different it was from Labyrinth. And I don't actually think we talked about it because I don't think I had played the Expunge mission at that time. I think you were like, it's cool, Jane, you gotta play it. And I was like, okay. Yeah, the difference between Labyrinth, which was also awesome, and then doing this, they were just really cool. Like they were different. I thought I was like, oh, it's gonna be the same thing with a new boss. That's what I thought, right? That's what we've gotten in the past. Is yep, you do something and then a boss changes at the end for your weekly activity. That's Override, frankly, which I like Override, but Override is the same thing. You play Gambit without any invaders and you fight a different boss at the end, and that's okay. It's good. It's fun. That's one of those game modes where you try and get more efficient, right? You're like, okay, let me get really, really good at killing everything here and then getting to the boss and clearing the boss out in 1 second. This is different. This is like, well, I don't know what I'm getting.
right.
And it was drastically different. And kudos to Bungie. Kudos to Bungie. It was excellent. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. Afterwards, the story that we got, the cutscene that we got.
Yeah.
It
was so good.
Yeah, it's so good. Like it. I don't know why, but it felt so deep.
Yeah.
Like that, entire section of story after that Expunge mission was over. Like I felt something. I couldn't quite put my finger on it, but I still can. But I was like, man, this is deep.
I agree with you. I think Destiny's getting to a point where we're talking about things we've never talked about before, right?
Yeah.
Like before it was like Red Legion come in and they're evil, right? And the only thing that maybe we thought about was Gaul really was he being used? Like how did he become that way? But in the end we were like, oh, whatever, we just killed him all and we killed Gaul and it doesn't really matter. This is the first time I think we're like, wait, hold up. That's how they view this is war, right? It is you see Saint, we're always like, yeah, let's go, Saint, and everybody on our side, woo, it's so great. And then Mithrax is like, yo, this man is insane. He comes after us and kills us all. We didn't even do anything. It was the other guys. And Lakshmi's like, yeah, politics. she's like, whatever. You're all fallen. Also, it's interesting what I love about sci-fi. Sorry, I'm kind of nerding out right now. What I love about sci-fi and fantasy is that you can talk about things like racism outside of the context of real life. As a black person, it's really tiring talking about racism all the time. But when you do it in a game, everyone sees it, right? Everyone sees it. Lakshmi is just being racist towards the Elixni. She's doing it in two ways. She's being racist by saying all fallen are bad. She's also doing it politically. Racism can be utilized politically, and she's doing that. And we've actually seen it to such an extent where that, Saint kills in the name of it. He didn't know. He wasn't thinking about it, but he kills in the name of it, which is so crazy. So we're starting to reach into aspects of humanity that, we were never looking at in D1.
Yeah. And what was even better about it is that after that entire encounter with Saint, Mithrax, and Lakshmi, we go back to the sector of the helm.
Yeah.
And she's like, I regret that, how I've acted. I'm like,
You believe her?
do you? Or are you just trying to get on my good side? Like,
Do you believe
because
her?
I'm not buying her bullshit right now.
Hell no.
Um,
Definitely
yeah,
not.
absolutely not.
She's like, I feel so bad. We will
Yeah.
give them their stuff back when they leave.
Yeah, when they're ready to move on. I'm like, what are you ready to move
Yeah,
on?
right?
What? Bro, I'll tell you what, man. Destiny or Bungie, with the way they've been making us feel for certain characters,
Yeah.
they've been doing it very well. Keitel,
Yep.
Lakshmi this far,
Yep.
Mithrax. We have a completely different worldview of Saint who are us just glorifying him all the time.
Yeah.
Bro, um, even Zavala.
Mm-hmm.
It's like he's like the guy nowadays. Um, but
New
we've actually
reactions.
gotten,
New reactions
we've
that I
actually
hope
gotten
we
like,
put a bullet in her head at the end of the season.
dude, like if she touches this baby fallen, I don't care.
Don't mess with the small one.
Don't mess with the small one, bro. um, but yeah, I watched a TikToker talk about this because I'm on Destiny TikTok right now. It's actually a really nice place to be. Um, and he was like, he's a lore nerd himself, and he's like, I predict there's going to be an override in the Fallen sector.
Interesting.
Or we're gonna have to like fight Lakshmi in some way. We probably won't fight Lakshmi.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I mean, dude, I'll pull out the freaking shurikens. I'll go off on Lakshmi.
I'll do 45 damage to her. Let's go.
45.
245s.
I haven't seen her ghost.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Mithrax has made nothing but good points.
Yep.
And showed nothing but content and wanting to be a part of the Guardian Society as light worshippers.
Yep.
And Lakshmi and like some people of the city, if you've read the lore book,
Yep.
are just not having it. And I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Like, I get it because of like things like Six Fronts and Twilight Gap.
Yeah.
But Mithrax literally said House Light has never done anything to you guys. And
Yep.
Lakshmi's just like, fallen or fallen. I'm like,
Politics. Yeah. The reaction says, I wonder if they see our Guardian the same way they see Saint. So I don't think that they feel the same way about us necessarily. And I think the reason is because we haven't been around as long. That's the only reason, I think. We're actually really young. Like, us as Guardians, we've only been around for, like, I don't know, a year. I mean, like, technically, I don't know how long it's been, but these guys have been around forever. So they're legends. We're legends to the people that exist right now, but we're not legends in terms of, like, name that has been passed down in generations, right? But I'm sure, when the Fallen see us, granted, Mithrax knows that we're good because we're the ones that freed him originally, right? So anyone that follows Mithrax, they might be like, oh yeah, we heard about that Guardian. He did something to these other houses that we don't like, but we weren't just going out mass murdering the same way that we weren't part of these wars. Actually, we've never been part of war. We've always been like placed into these little things. The only war we really were part of was against Oryx, and even then,
House Light is literally just like a group of people who didn't want to be like the other fallen house.
It's refugees mostly, right?
Mostly,
yeah. Like, it's Mithrax,
mainly Mithrax, and then like a good chunk of House Light right now is Aramis's people who did not want to be a part of that.
Yeah. Which is unfortunate because Salvation was looking that place. Reese, Reborn
Yeah.
was looking good. New reaction says, if you have seen me in the EDZ lost sectors, I have killed billions of Fallen. That's true. But again, it's a different group, right? What is that, House
Right.
Dusk or something like that?
Out dusk, yeah.
Yeah. So I think it is politically different, right? Where like I don't, we can recognize the fact, well, House Dusk is different from the House of Wolves. That's another thing, right? Is like we knew the different when we met Mara Solve, we were like, oh, these guys are different. I mean, that's the truth. We just knew it, right? We didn't really care. We didn't have ties. We weren't like, oh yeah, I heard the Fallen like killed people, in the city, but I don't know. You guys are nice. It's the same thing with Crow, right? There's a lot of lore out there right now about Crow and Crow liking the Fallen and being like, I don't understand what the problem is, right? Because the person that brought him up, who's evil, right? Spider, still brought him up, and he was friends with Spider's crew and other Elixni. So. We literally deal with Spider. And obviously Mithrax wasn't the first Fallen that we've ever dealt with.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, anyway.
I'll say is there's one part of the cutscene where Saint is literally dragging a Fallen into a bubble
Dude, that was
to
sick.
kill him.
I'm not gonna lie, that was fire.
Yeah.
He would drag him into the dome, and I was like, bro, I've done that. I mean, I can't grab people, but if I could, I've done that.
Yeah.
But instead, I had Throne Cleaver on my back, and I was like, let's go. Yeah, dude, it's so good. Dude, did you see how they drew him? At one point, he had like a tail. There was literally a time where Saint had a tail, and I was like, yo, this is crazy. This is insane. Yeah, there was some really, really cool stuff. Reaction says, Crow for Speaker 2021. A lot of people think it might be the case. We know that the Traveler communicates with him differently than other people. Yeah. We'll see. All right. Well, let's move on. Another thing I wanted to talk about was Override, but I think we kind of covered it. It seems like you've been enjoying Override a lot more, right, Gil?
Yes.
Yeah.
Override is. I had my opinions on it back when before the season started, first week. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
I think it's better than Battlegrounds for sure.
My thought on these types of activities is that the seasonal activity needs to be shorter, or I don't know. It shouldn't feel like I'm doing a strike. Battlegrounds kind of felt like I was doing a strike every time. This feels different. Override feels different. And if you're going fast, if you know what your crew is doing, you can maximize the efficiency. And it's not like it's a cyclical thing, right? So you don't have to really think about it too much. You're doing the same thing over and over again. The dialogue is fun, but I think generally what you're doing is a fun thing to do. So it's good.
You want to hear a hot take?
Uh-oh. Get your clips ready. Go ahead.
This might actually be surprising to you hearing this come from my mouth. Recently, after playing these things, I'm of the opinion I like Wrathborn hunts more than Battlegrounds.
Honestly, I'm with you, man. Battlegrounds were just too long. They're just not. They're just too long. The reward structure for Wrathborn hunts is so much better, dude. That's what it is.
Rolls.
It's time investment, right?
Yeah.
It's time investment. The Wrathborn hunts probably had the best time investment. These new, the new Override, I think is a good investment. You get a lot of loot. You get 2 or 3 pieces of loot every time you complete it, and you're not struggling for ether. You know what I mean? No one's struggling for ether out here. So you do that every time you're being rewarded. It's better than a strike. You're getting rewarded, dude. You do Battlegrounds and you don't get anything.
Yeah,
you get something you don't. You get some random crap, and then you charge up your hammer. Like, dude, no. The good thing is, I think they'll never do that again. I think they know, and I think they'll probably see as well that like the playtime for Battlegrounds has probably just gone down immensely. Probably the same for Wrathborn hunts, to be fair, but I think that has to do with the loot comparatively. But good hot take. Good hot take. Wrathborn hunts. I would say Override, Wrathborn hunts, And then the last thing is definitely Battlegrounds. And if you wanted to go even further, like, even further back, like Menagerie is obviously probably at the top, but even Saint 14 Season of Dawn, his thing, it was probably my second favorite. His activity I thought was excellent as well. And then, oh my god, of course, the Forges. Oh my god, love the Forges. So, also, I want to apologize for people who are saying my camera freak out. I don't know why my camera freaks out. I've been using this camera for years, and I don't know why all of a sudden it's having issues. So I'll try and figure it out later. Anyway, let's move on. Let's actually get through this twab, eh? Iron Rising, guys. Boom, there it is. We got Iron Banner coming back. Really quickly, what I wanted to do is actually go to Gunsmith. I don't know if people have seen Gunsmith before, but obviously we're getting Iron Banners coming back next week. I'm excited with my first Iron Banner of the season, and I shouldn't be too busy next week, so this is going to be good for me. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of stuff. So first thing I wanted to mention is Reese Walker. Let's take a look at Reese Walker. Gil, what would be your number one build for Reese Walker?
Oh, Jesus.
I've got all the stuff here, so if you want to take a look at the screen share. Can you see? I think I'm zoomed in as much as I can be. Yeah.
Scroll over the barrels.
Sure.
Just like go down.
I mean, I can tell you, full choke and rifled are the only options.
Yeah.
Full
Rifled
choke,
barrel.
Okay, rifled barrel.
Accurized. Quick draw Iron Reach.
Quick draw Iron Reach. I'm assuming you would want, of course, a range masterwork.
Correct.
Maybe Icarus grip.
Yeah.
Yeah. This excited to try and get these rolls this next week. How about PvE? Do you want a PvE Reese Walker?
I mean, I don't really use shotguns in PvE that often.
Ooh, really? Shame on you. You have that.
Yeah.
You have that incredible new shotgun now, though. Lead from Gold, Vorpal. That's my baby
actually,
right there.
I already had one.
Oh, okay.
But that's just what Banshee was selling.
Yeah.
I do have that. I have that, but I literally never use it.
I'm disappointed in you.
And I know it spawns one night cells too.
It's
So
probably
I
because you weren't in that season. Like I played that season like crazy, and that was my favorite shotgun. I was making war mine cells. I was killing everything, killing champions, bosses, whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, it was sick. But I can imagine that you're playing now and you're like, yeah, this is a good shotgun, and then you just kind of never use it. Shame.
PvE. Corkscrew. Probably.
Corkscrew? Okay.
Maybe not corkscrew, actually.
Corkscrew's good. It gives you that extra handling if you get that extra handling. I'm with you on that one.
Either assault mag.
Let's go.
Probably assault mag, yeah.
Let's go. You already know the deal. Sure, you could go extended, get that 7, or you could go tack or appended to get that 7. I'm going assault, baby, every time.
Yeah. Corkscrew, assault mag, surplus Vorpal.
Yeah, I was thinking about it. I was like, man, this is rough because I don't really like any of these except maybe Slideways.
Demolitionist.
Yeah. I think these 3 are good, right? I think Vorpal, obviously. Demolitionist. I love Demolitionist. And then Swashbuckler. Swashbuckler is good if you're a Titan. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, if you like meleeing, I think these 3 are good. I think that what sucks is this left side, this first column is a little rough.
Yeah.
I would probably maybe go Slideways just to get the... Surplus is good, though. Surplus is definitely good. Yeah. But I think I would probably go Slideways for me personally, just to get the extra ammo in there. I mean, it doesn't do anything else. The handling stability plus is not that interesting. But refreshing the mag, I think, is nice. Slide in, get a couple of kills with Vorpal, or, Demolitionist, slide again. I don't want I will probably not get a PvP roll of this, or PvE roll of this. It's just not good enough, and I've been on that God rolls only. Great. All right, let's continue. We only got a couple more collections. Let's go straight to Iron Banner. Apply the filter. If you guys have not been on this website, it's called D2 Gunsmith, d2gunsmith.com. It's one of my favorites. One of the coolest things that you can do actually is click this button down here that says take screenshot, and the screenshot will literally just be saved. And then you can go ahead and open the file, and you can just send this to Discord, PSN, whatever, right? And show people, hey guys, this is the role I'm looking for. I can't wait to get it. Which is just awesome. I think it's a really cool utility. All right, anyway, let's take a look at the next one. The next one is Occluded. New reaction says, don't get me started on my God roll ignition code. Ignition code. Should we take a look at your ignition? We'll get to ignition code. What is ignition code? What weapon is that?
Kinetic grenade launcher.
Oh, that's from this season, right? Like from the Override. New reactions. Tell us your God roll while we go over our occluded finality. Gil, what would be your God roll here, man?
For what?
PvP.
PvP.
It's Iron Banner. You know?
Yeah.
Let's start with PvP.
Hammer forged.
Nice. Good. This is actually more of a test. I'm testing.
Ricochet rounds.
Ooh, okay. Ricochet. All right.
Damn. Okay. That second one.
Some good ones in here.
Yeah. Either snapshot or no distractions. Either or.
Snapshot. Yeah. No, you could do no distractions. No distractions is good too.
Yeah.
Especially now.
I would prefer snapshot, but I would take no distractions.
Oh, 100%.
And opening shot obviously would be the first choice, but then Iron Reach would be the second.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more. I think opening shot.
It's just like that huge chunk of stability that you lose with Iron Reach is just kind of like.
Yeah, who cares? This is a sniper.
Yeah.
It's a high impact sniper. This thing's shooting slow as freak. I think opening shot, from what I understand, is better, right? Because of the aim assist overall, plus 90 range, right? And the
actually got one, but it's a PvE one.
Look at this. This is a max range with opening shot. If you add Iron Reach, you don't get anything. So you can get max range and opening shot on this bad boy.
Yeah.
Throw an Icarus grip, or for me, what I usually run is my beautiful, where are you? Targeting adjuster. There you go. Add even more aim assist. Bully him even more. This right here, that's my God roll.
Actually, I got a PvE one with auto loading Vorpal.
Hey, there we go. So I was just about to ask you, what magazine?
I got either armor piercing or flared magwell.
All right, flared magwell is all right, I guess. I obviously you've auto loading, so you'd obviously want to go appended or tack, which I don't think they have tack on here. So you would want to go appended. You obviously could get extended mag though too. It doesn't really matter, but you probably want appended. And then I would stick the same with hammer forged, right? The more range, the easier it is to hit those targets, just because of the aim assist that you'll get with the range. But I guess you could go handling too. But yeah, this would probably be my God roll as well. Nice. All right. New reactions. You sent it on Discord. I actually can open it up on Discord. So let's actually go ahead and do that. Let me grab it. And the good thing is, if you're not in the Discord, you can actually post it in there. Here we go. Hold up. Let's see what you got. Let's see. Ignition code. He's got hard launch, spike grenades, ambitious assassin, frenzy. I love it. Reload, masterwork, which I actually like, because you definitely want to get that right back in, right? Back in the chamber and start again. And Icarus grip. Yeah, this is good. I like this a lot. I personally would recommend, if you have any interest in my opinion, if I was to do an ignition code, you know what? Since we're here, let's build it. Ignition code. I would personally do ambitious assassin or slide shot.
Yeah.
It's a little hard to tell which one. I usually would go Demolitionist or Thresh. I have not used Danger Zone because the biggest thing here for me, right, is I want to get more. I want to just get splash damage kills. You can go spike grenade for sure. I would want to do anything that doesn't decrease my blast radius. So basically, spike or high velocity. And I guess I should state this as well. I basically only use grenade launchers for ad clear, and to get charged with light using blast radius. That's what I use it for personally. You can go spike grenade, and then I would just go full send into Vorpal, and then slide shot again, because slide shot will load that shot in again, and I can do massive damage to something. But I would rather go for ad clear, so I would probably go high velocity. And then you can't actually change. Oh, you can change blast radius on these. Yeah, I would probably do something like this. I'd probably do something like this with a blast radius maxed out. And then probably, where is it? Quick access sling. This would probably be my god roll personally. What do you think, Gil, on your ignition code? Do you have a god roll ignition code that you really like, or?
Well,
I could go left and gold too. I could go left and gold.
Yeah.
But preferably.
I have one. It's just sitting in my vault. I have two in my vault. Both have blinding. I'm a big blinding guy.
I do like blinding grenades. That I agree with that.
One of them is blinding field prep frenzy.
Oh, it's not bad.
The other one is blinding quick draw Vorpal.
Yeah, so I actually really like, if I'm going to go blinding, I'm going to go Vorpal. Quick draw is not bad. I mean, being able to pull that thing out real fast and just shoot a champion with it, and it's like, oh crap, I can't see, especially if it's unstoppable, or even just anything hard. I've been using, I have one with concussion grenades, which really, they're pretty much the same. I don't really know the difference, to be honest. It's pretty great. Again, I wish I had Vorpal on it, but I think that's the thing is, like, grenade launchers can be used one or two ways. Is like you can actually do damage to something, which I again would say blinding nades or spike grenades, or concussion, I guess. Or you would go for ad clear, and for me, I go ad clear because I'm just going to use my rocket launcher that's charged with light and annihilate whatever single target I'm looking to stop. Cool. Well, that's ignition code. I don't want to get too away from us. Let's get the last two Iron Banner weapons out here. And let's start with Archon's Thunder. Archon's Thunder. I'm going to take this one, Gil. For me, I'm a big fan of stability on my machine guns. So I would probably go Fluted, is what I would think. Corkscrew is obviously fine as well. Chambered Compensator, obviously. Chambered Compensator is always nice. But I would probably just say something like Fluted is nice. I like handling as well. You want if you can get your machine gun to feel snappy, that's nice. You want as much ammo as you can get. So I would say extended. If you go tack, if you go appended, it's less. So I would go extended. And then after that, I would say field prep. Field prep is probably the best to me. You get that reload up, which, is helpful. But I think the biggest thing is when you're crouched, the reload speed basically gets maxed. And most importantly, you get a reserve boost. So you'll get more ammo overall. So I actually really like field prep with my Archon, or with my machine guns generally. You could probably say Killing Wind could be interesting too. But generally, I would just say field prep. And then I would go straight up Rampage or Thresh. Either or, Rampage or Thresh. Now, if this was PvP, on the other hand, that changes a lot. Stability and range is what I would go for, stability and range. So I'd probably go small bore. I would probably go steady rounds. Accurized rounds could be good too, though. It really depends. I don't know how much this thing jumps. But I would probably go steady rounds. Rangefinder could be really interesting. Killing Wind could be interesting. Surplus could be interesting as well. And I almost always run Rampage. Rampage, it's just lowering the amount of shots to continue getting kills. So I might even literally just go straight in and go for Killing Wind Rampage. I might even max out that range instead. Because if you max out the range, when you get a kill on your first one, which you can just go with body shots, you're just sending these things flying. There's a lot of options here. And I didn't even check these two. Aim assist could kind of be insane. That could be pretty insane.
Yeah.
Iron Grip could be crazy too, though. You don't need reload speed, so maybe I would go Iron Grip. Oh, that would be nice. Surplus, Iron Grip, steady rounds, polygonal, or even better, small bore. Yeah, this is pretty nice. This is pretty nice. Yeah,
I actually have one.
Oh, what do you got?
Small bore. Accurized surplus in Rampage.
Yeah, that's good. I like that. I like that. Surplus, so a lot of people have been talking about it recently, that surplus is the way to go on machine guns because you don't have to do anything to automatically get the buff, right? Even if you have one ability, you just automatically, it's better. I mean, I guess, no, you wouldn't want field prep. It's not. I always get field prepped and firmly planted swapped. You could go rangefinder, right? You could go rangefinder. You could go Killing Wind. Surplus, I think, is a really safe bet. And for me, Rampage is the way. Rampage is the way. So, nice roll. All right, we got one more. Finite Impactor. Do you have any of these, Gil?
No. The one I got from the quest I deleted.
Gotcha. I don't know much about these sites, to be honest with you. I would just go range and stability. It looks like some of these alter aim assist as well. Actually, it seems like all of them alter aim assist. So I would probably just do something that increases stability and range if it's possible. It looks like this one, generally, True Sight is a pretty flat buff. I don't really know, though. I'll be completely honest with you. This one right here, Hit Mark, seems to just straight up add range. But again, I'd probably do something like True Sight. And then Ricochet rounds, of course. And then this is where things get interesting. I'm the type of person that likes to go for consistency. So I would go for Heating Up. Okay with Killing Wind as well, but I personally would go with Heating Up. No Distractions is interesting, but for 180, I'm never going to just be like staring down a lane. I think that's pretty not great. And then I wouldn't go Iron Reach because I think I want the stability. I wouldn't go Iron Grip. Well, I could go Iron Grip. I'd go Iron Grip. But I'd probably want to just go Kill Clip. Multi-kill clip, Killing Wind would obviously be great. Heating Up, Kill Clip would be great. But Iron Grip, I wouldn't be mad about at all. Mexican Synth, you're back. What role would you choose, my guy? What role would you choose? And Gil, what role would you choose?
Well, I used that thing when I got it, and I hated it.
What did you hate about it?
It's
a 140. I'm sorry.
First of all, it's a 140. Second of all, it's so thin that it's jarring. It's like you're shooting a stick.
Okay.
But like it's so thin that you feel like it should be a 180. Like
that's why I thought it was 180.
It feels like a Nature of the Beast.
Yeah.
But if it was 140.
Is it Suros? Does it shoot like almost like a laser? It's not a laser, but it's like pew, 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 pew. Okay, so it's
but I guess I don't know I don't really care about the sites. I don't know all of them.
Yeah, me either.
But probably Ricochet or High Cal. Either Killing Wind or Heating Up, or no, Killing Wind or Heating Up.
No, that's it.
Either of the Iron Perks.
Yeah, I don't think I would go for reach. I think I need the
Yeah.
stability with a 140. I don't want this thing jumping out of my hands, but I would iron grip though. I think is good. The reload speed, it's slow. It's slow. But hopefully I could put
Sucks.
something on it. But I would honestly probably just go kill clip for me personally. I think if I got a kill clip killing win roll or a kill clip heating up roll, I think that's what I would want. Where these two, I think it's just too much in one direction. But
Yeah.
all right, well that is all of the Iron Banner weapons, the new ones. So get them next week, guys. We won't be going over the weapons again. That's the last time we'll probably go over them. So if you have any interesting rolls that you get next week, definitely let us know. Definitely let us know in the Discord or on Twitter. But Mex, I'm still waiting to hear your roll, man. I'm still waiting to hear your roll. But for now, let's move on to splicing down the runway. There is a brand new fashion emblem that you are able to get because there is a brand new fashion show happening for Destiny. If you didn't know, Destiny, Bungie does a fashion shows every once in a while. Basically, you go ahead and make a fashion look for your Guardian, and then you go ahead and tweet at Destiny, and you go ahead and make sure you tag Splicer Fashion Show. You literally see it right here. It says, dress up, throw together a mix of some awesome armor and sweet shaders to create a set that you believe is the winner. And then snag a photo of your Guardian in the Guardian appearance screen showing your armor set and shader selection. Providing an additional picture of your Guardian in the wild is not required, but may get you some bonus points. Submit your photo on Twitter or Instagram, like I said, with hashtag Splicer Fashion Show to enter. Pretty cool. I do believe that our clan is going to participate in this as well. So looking at you guys, Obsidian Gears, excited to have new reactions and Mex both get involved. I know both of you guys really like the fashion. And speaking of some of the fashion looks, they actually give us some looks, which I think is hysterical. The first one they show us is make your own luck. I have no idea what this is supposed to be or what it's supposed to look like, but it looks bad. I'm not sure what their idea was here. It
Sorry
looks.
to interrupt.
Oh yeah, you're good.
Could we take like 5?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before we go into the new appearances and everything, guys, we're gonna take a quick 5-minute break. Maybe I'll actually be able to figure out what's wrong with my camera in the meantime. But give us 5 minutes, guys. Please don't go anywhere. We will be right back. All right, and we are back. Sorry about that, guys. Did not mean to do that. Not mean to be that long. But Gil is no longer with us. No, I'm just kidding. He had to go into orbit. He had to go somewhere. A quick trip. But we're gonna go ahead and finish this out. And then I have an announcement to make at the end. So hopefully you guys will enjoy it. But yeah, let's go ahead and talk about the fashion that they showed us real quick. Make your own luck. No idea why they showcased this. I think it looks really bad. If you guys like it, new reactions. You're the one that loves fashion in Destiny. So I'd love to know what you think because I think this is so ugly. But like I said, let me know what you think. Then we have I'm assuming it's Internet Disciple. I don't know. But it looks okay. It looks okay. I like the it's kind of like robed. So like it almost looks like you can see it's not skin obviously, but you have this like skin tight armor and then like just kind of generally robed with kind of what looks like maybe like monk garb of some sort. It looks kind of cool. It's not, I don't think it's great. But then we've got compromised. I love it. Compromised. Crucible Peppermint. You gotta love it. The Mind Vault helmet. This is the classic Titan helmet that allows you to constantly do your melee over and over again on the art class. And it's got the Mind Vault ornament on it, which is pretty cool. I love it personally. I absolutely love this. I would definitely wear this myself. And it's cool that you can see like all the parts. As well as the shaders, so you can kind of be like, oh, I know that part, put them together, and then put the shaders on. So that's pretty cool. And then we've got Skelegild. I think this looks okay. I wouldn't say it looks great. New reaction says burn it with fire. I'm assuming you were talking about this one. I don't know what this was. If I saw this, I would have just thought somebody was being a noob, to be completely honest with you. Looks like Lucky Charms, and maybe that's the idea. Make your own luck. Maybe it's a Lucky Charms reference. Skelegild, though, it looks all right. It looks a little chunky. I'm not a huge fan of it. Honestly, the arms and the chest don't really match. At least I don't think they do. But hey, to each his own. Transcendent Hailstorm. I love this. I think this is super cool. Transcendent Hailstorm. It's cool. Night's Chill. A lot of it is the raid set from Garden, but you have the Transcendent Geometry ornament. And I think it just looks really, really good with this whole thing going on. So I'm a big fan. I like when they add the name to it as well, right? So I think it gives it a little bit more panache, if you will. Unstoppable Force. I don't know, man. Again, I think it's kind of boring. I like the chest piece. I always like this chest piece, and I always really liked the way that these boots look. But I think generally everything else doesn't really match with it. I don't know. A little boring to me. I just thought this was funny that this was what they had. Now, of course, if I remember correctly, I think these are devs. Yeah, so this is what devs came up with. Hey, maybe they're not the most artistic. That's okay. But hopefully we see some better art from Mexican Synth, new reactions, and everybody else in the Obsidian Gears and anyone else that is here on the podcast. All right, guys. Outside of that, it's all about bug fixes. Obviously, the hotfix came out, but there were a couple other things that they mentioned. Teleporting enemies should have gotten better since Tuesday. They talked a little bit about expunge rewards. Some people were wondering why they weren't getting pinnacle rewards. You won't be getting pinnacle rewards until June 15th. That's not a bug. It's supposed to be that way. And of course, there were all the changes that we went over already today. So those are all the fixes. Roller Coaster of Emotions, movie of the week. Highly recommend you guys check this out. It's called Prophecy Coaster. We're not going to watch the entire thing, but I did just want to show you guys. If you haven't heard of Roller Coaster Tycoon, maybe you've heard of its spiritual successor, which is Planet Coaster. Basically, what this person did was recreate the entire Prophecy dungeon in Planet Coaster. So this is literally an on-rails roller coaster, and it is very cool. It's got effects and everything like that. They built this inside of Planet Coaster. So we're not going to sit here and watch the whole thing, but I just kind of wanted to show you guys some of the different parts. It's pretty cool. Obviously, they go through the little portal, and oh, look at that. We're in the very beginning. You can see even the enemies can shoot projectiles and stuff. I think it's pretty cool. Obviously, it's literally built into a completely different game. But I want to show you guys some of the boss battles and things like that. So here's the boss, the first boss. You can see there's like a stop that you have to go through, and then the roller coaster really gets zooming. It really gets zooming. But I love it. I just think it's so cool that people like Destiny so much that they build the game into other parts of other games, basically. But anyway, it's pretty cool. If you guys want to check out the whole thing, definitely go ahead and take a look yourself. The next movie of the week is The Yeet Force of Atheon.
Have you ever been?
Now, we're definitely not watching this whole thing, but what this is literally a YouTuber that calculates the Yeet Force of Atheon. Atheon's stomp. You can see, obviously this person's looking to figure out how hard he can crush you. It's pretty cool. If you guys are into math or science or just generally like this kind of stuff, take a look. Literally, this guy breaks down frame by frame. I don't know, whatever. Like, it's all sciencey. It's very cool. Definitely take a look at it if you guys have any interest in nerdy stuff like this. It's pretty cool. All right, and then we have, of course, the artist of the week. The first one is this pretty cool GIF where you can see there's you've got your Arc Titan who flies through to try and hit Atheon, and you have the Golden Gun Hunter, and Atheon's just dancing. I love it. I love it. I love it. It's so cool. And then we have this really, really cool one where I was actually mentioning before that I really like it when you get to see art mixed with personal lore. And right here, that's exactly what happens. You actually see here, it says, Kari rescues Jayesh from a pack of alien monsters who are trying to eat him. Good thing she has sweet lightning powers. And you can see here, obviously, that's Jayesh, and this is, I'm assuming, her female warlock, who looks pretty cool, who's shooting lightning out of her hands, hitting some aliens, probably some Thrall, saving the day. It just looks really cool. And then again, you can see kind of the faces here. I love it. I think it's cool. I love this type of artwork. You can actually see our response right here. It's cool in personal lore and fan art mix. You get something based in a credible universe that is uniquely its own. Incredible work. Congrats on the TWAB. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Cool. That is all of the arts. They actually mentioned here that if you ever make your own art, you can do hashtag Destiny art, hashtag Destiny 2 art, or hashtagging because DMG told me to. Stuff like that. Let's read the rest of this real quick. It says, thanks for stopping by for another week of TWABness. Season of the Splicer has been fun so far, but there's still quite a bit to look forward to. Next week is Iron Banner, weekly raid challenges, Vault of Glass difficulty options, Solstice of Heroes, and more. Even outside of seasonal content, there's a lot to get excited about for the future of Destiny. A few of us have said our best days are ahead. With every playtest, shot of gear, or piece of concept art that passes my desk, I can't help but agree. And they showed this beautiful piece of concept art. This is like a 3D render of the new Hunter armor that we were getting in Witch Queen. One of the interesting things I think is actually the background, which is very green. And I don't think we have a location that is this green. EDZ might be the closest. Maybe some weird spots on Nessus, but this looks like straight up bamboo or something in the background, and I think that looks pretty cool. And of course, there's just the Hunter armor in general, which looks sick. So there's that as well. That was a quick tease, and we are eager to show more about the Witch Queen. Expect to hear from us again with more details later in the summer. We have some awesome content to play between now and then. See you out there in the wild. Cheers, DMG. I'm gonna say that is Chicago Swamps. I have heard a lot of people say that Chicago Swamps are coming. or Old Chicago generally is coming. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Guys, thank you so much. This has been the 14th episode of Ghosts and Guardians. Again, unfortunately, Gil couldn't be with us here till the very end, but thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. We appreciate it. Quick piece of news. Me and Gil are going to try something brand new. We're going to try something called Ghosts and Guardians After Dark. We're not trying it today. We're going to probably try it tomorrow or on the weekend, whenever we have time. We're not going to give it a specific date or time just yet. But what we're going to do is talk about things that are outside of the realm of Destiny and Bungie. We want to talk about general gaming things. So, for example, E3 is about 2 weeks away, and we want to talk about E3. We want to talk about what's coming out, what games we're excited for. Obviously, there's really no place for that in the Ghosts and Guardians mainline podcast, where we talk about Destiny for 2+ hours. But obviously, we want to still talk about this kind of stuff with you guys. So, give us some time. We are going to go ahead and do this again, probably not today, but probably tomorrow or over the weekend. So keep your eyes and ears posted for that. It will be, of course, be posted on Twitter. It'll be posted. We'll go live on Twitch, and you guys get a notification. So make sure you're following. Or, of course, if you're part of the Discord, we'll go ahead and notify you guys there as well. Guys, thank you so much. It's been an honor. I will see you guys online. And, of course, we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.